So
Power. Well, it can't be the power. Hello. Stream very shortly, all right, but I think we're going to somehow do this.
The bowling department tonight, because no Chris Jordan, who's away with England, no George Garton, who's still having to self-isolate, and no Tamal Mills, who's still recovering from injury. What Sussex do have is Rashid Khan, who is a world-class performer on this stage. He's playing his first match in the T20. Sussex going in with 3 leg spinners, which is interesting. Kevin, Archie Lenham, the young 16-year-old, he retains his place. Will Beer, as we hear the strains of good old Sussex by the Sea across the Ageas Bowl. So, you know, a Sussex attack not full strength, but interesting how the 3 leg spinners will bowl here tonight.
Yes, it's a bit like a Hampshire attack of old, where there was, we used to have a Shahid Afridi, there was Imran Tahir and Danny Briggs, not quite a leg spinner, but it's the spinners that the Sussex are turning to here.
Well, it definitely is, and to be fair, you know, straight from the start of this competition, that's exactly what Sussex have done, particularly with Archie Lenham. You saw him bowl down at Hove earlier on when he bowled terrifically well. You know, he's not been a one-game wonder. He's gone in, he's taken wickets in the competition, and he's in the side tonight on merit. So Sussex have won the toss, and they are going to be batting first. And Phil Salt, back from England duty, probably broken finger and all, which he's batting with, will be getting them away.
Hampshire made one change from the side that beat Essex this afternoon. Chris Wood is out of the side, the left-arm seamer, and 18-year-old Tom Press, the batter, has taken his place. So it's going to be Liam Dawson then from the pavilion end, and immediately that's worked wide through mid-on, and that could be 4 runs straight away. Phil Salt.
Yeah, I mean, he's in a terrific run of form. He made 60 at Lords last week in the one-day international, 37 at Edgbaston in just 6 overs in the game on Tuesday when England wrapped up that series. So he's in a rich vein of form. I think he might have been a bit surprised not to be in the T20 squad, having done so well, as indeed maybe James Vince will feel that as well. But he's in a good run of form. 2 informed England players.
Certainly are. 4 without loss then Sussex, and Sussex has hit in the air, and that is caught at backward point, and Brad Wheel takes the catch, and Phil Salt goes second ball. Sussex here are 4 for 1.
Well, there we are, famous last words. Well done, Adrian, giving Phil Salt the big build-up, and then he's out. I don't know, you know, he looks as if he was trying to cut that one away through backward point. Kevin, perhaps the ball's a bit too close to him, but he's cut it away. And that's a massive wicket as far as Hampshire are concerned. Phil Salt has been in devastating form over the last week. But Sussex lose a wicket last week. They lost a wicket with Luke Wright off the first ball that Luke received. Tonight it's the second ball that Phil Salt has received. Brad Wheel with the catch, Liam Dawson with the wicket. And it's always a big blow when one of the Sussex big 2 get out early on, Kevin.
Yeah, it certainly is. Yeah, they're one of the form sides and one of the favourites to go through in the top 4. Sussex starting this evening second in the South Group. This is their penultimate fixture, as it is now Hampshire's penultimate fixture. But Hampshire have moved up to 6 with that victory this afternoon. They have 11 points, and they're trying to sort of claw their way past Somerset and Gloucester. Surrey won this afternoon, which means they're now finished on 15. Hampshire could mathematically get 15, but they need a big win somewhere along the line in these final 2 games.
Yeah, it sort of put the cat among the pigeons, really, with Hampshire winning and Surrey winning as well. I think Gloucestershire's last game is against Somerset, so it's all up for grabs, Kevin.
Robbie Bopara is the new batsman for Sussex, who quietly turns that to mid-wicket, fielded by Colin de Grandon.
I think it's fair to say that we haven't seen the best of Robbie Bopara so far in T20. Having said that, he batted beautifully in the game last Friday night, when Sussex got over the line.
As Dawson bowls and Bopara works that away on the 45 to de Grandon. They will take a single as it's to his left hand, 5 for 1.
So certainly, you know, that was the best innings that that Ravi Bopara has played in Sussex colours, and he's getting in early, which I know he likes in this format. A lot of noise around the ground.
Yeah, well, they've been here since about 1 o'clock this afternoon.
Oh,
so
dear.
yes. My word, that's away to our right, that chanting. It's the loudest I've heard a crowd at T20 this season. That's pushed quietly out on the offside, although they'll take a quick single. Mason Crane in, but Luke Wright is off the mark. Sussex here 6 for 1. And you guys could just about wrap it up tonight with a victory, couldn't you? Qualify?
Yes, they could. So Sussex would qualify if they win tonight. If they win both their remaining matches, then they'd finish in the top 2. Final game against Kent at Canterbury on Sunday.
Here's Dawson and bowls, and Bopara turns that into the covers. Wants a single, no, says Luke Wright, as fielder Joe Weatherly comes quickly, and that's an over done there. First over of the game. 6 for 1 Sussex. Yes, by Hampshire's top 4 place by no means a foregone, well, nowhere near a foregone conclusion, especially after the first 7 games. But they've done well to be still giving themselves a chance.
Yeah, so last week Ravi Bopara in the game against Essex batted beautifully against his former county. He made 62 not out, comfortably his best innings in Sussex colours. He batted at number 3, and he really saw Sussex through a little bit of a crisis. They were struggling until he and Delray Rawlings came together, and Delray had licence to play his shots, and he looked a terrific player when he's given that licence, Delray. So an early wicket going down as it did last week. But as ever with Sussex, I think a lot relies on one of the openers, either Luke Wright or Phil Salt.
Sure.
And indeed with Ravi Bopara today. So opening a bowler from this end, the hotel end, is going to be Brad Wheel.
On a hat-trick.
Is he? Well, you ought to do it then. You
okay.
Commentate on this ball just in case.
The last 2 wickets of the Essex innings, Shane Snatter and Sam Cook. And he's on a hat-trick here, bowling to Luke Wright. So in comes Brad Wheel, then running away from us and bowls. It's a length ball, and he works that down towards third man. That ball had a little bit of shape on it, but Luke Wright played it well, kept it down, and not a hat-trick on this occasion for Brad Wheel.
If Luke Wright was aware it was a hat-trick ball, but he wasn't.
I bet he wasn't. I'm not sure he would play any different anyway.
It looks sharp as well from Brad Wheel. Lovely early evening here at the Ageas. Lots of blue sky, lights on. Hampshire in yellow, top Sussex in their royal blue, a slipping place. The field outside of the 3-yard circle, a third man, and a deep square. As in comes Wheel, balls to Bopara, and Bopara eats that down to third. When he's in 4, he makes it look ridiculously easy, Bopara. Just a little, open face up, runs the ball down to third man, and he picks a single. And Hampshire, the club, must be cock-a-hoop a minute. I mean, they've won this first game. Wonderful win at the championship this week. Yeah,
it's been a good week so far, for sure. Yeah, top 6. And, well, you got, what, 1 in 6 chance of lifting the championship title at the end of the season. You'd take the start of the year, wouldn't you?
Definitely. As in comes Wheel. Bowls, and a miss by Luke. It was a quick delivery, and the ball through into the gloves, and McManus and the run.
Went through, didn't it? Bounce off a length, and also shape, just shaped away from the right-hander. That was a beautiful delivery. Great to watch from behind the arm.
And in terms of in this competition, games away from home early on.
Nightmare.
It didn't help.
Nightmare. And of course, you use the first couple. Just keep on travelling. Doesn't help.
Yeah.
Hard work. The players didn't need too much, I don't think. Weren't even allowed to practice in between.
Wheel over the wicket. And right. That's that one away without timing. Over the head of mid and a run away for 4 runs. Outfield. He didn't time that Luke Wright. The less the ball disappears to the top of mid off. Luke Wright picks up his first boundary. Sharks go to 12 for 1 in the second over, and Wright goes to 6.
It's been a dangerous this format for quite a while, hasn't it, Luke Wright? Averaging 42 this season. Phil was a good wicket to get. Well, he's averaging 52. But you're right, and the opening for Sussex has been absolutely awesome. And well, they've got rid of half of them.
Still a slipping as Brad Wheel, number 58, runs away from us. To bowl to the Brazilian bowl, right inside the line and eases that down to third man. Another single, just he goes to 7 off 5 degrees and Sharks to 13. And just for our, our Sussex, Kevin, the reason Hampshire play here was because I guess the World Test Championship, I guess, among
World Test Championship got teams isolated in India, of course. So there was a good period where Hampshire weren't allowed the ground.
Where were they training? Were they?
Winchester College, I think, was once or twice.
Runs away, comes in and bowl to Bapara. Just makes a leg by. I'm not sure there was any batter that. No, there wasn't any batter. It's leg by. It's the second over from Brad, just conceding the 7 runs. Sharks are 4 for 1. Bapara on 2, Wright on 7 man out. Phil Saw, who was out first over. 4.
I got a message actually just to say that the cheering on the right-hand side of commentary was because it sort of got on edge right on the nick of time just before the game started. I know BBC Six for you listeners wouldn't know what's going on in the background. You were the consummate just carrying on as if nothing was going on. Poor old me and Melissa were working frantic to try and work things out, but we got.
I felt bad.
Oh, I know. You looked as though you were bad for us.
Cables being. First time it happened, was it?
No. But anyway, we're good to go. There's Dawson Bowl, and that's a drop. A thick inside there by O'Para, called by Luke Wright. Comes in from Tom Pratt, who's left out of the side this afternoon, pressing, but he's back in. My thought is that perhaps Chris Wood, who's had problems with his knee over the years, he missed him earlier in this tournament. I think maybe games today is a little much for him. That's what I think. I don't know for sure, but that's my. Here comes Dawson Bowl, slightly quicker off the back foot is right, but only fine to recover.
The last time I saw Dawson was last season and we were here, Kevin, and we were at the other end of the ground, and he's in a boot, his Achilles.
Wasn't good, was he?
He's recovered well.
Right. He was good at commentary.
Good.
Yeah, but he was struggling to get up the stairs, wasn't he, really? Bowls and Luke Wright prods forward, and that's back to Dawson, and there's no run, the score remains 15 for 1.
Pressed me on the comment. There was an occasion, and a Hampshire player dropped a catch, didn't quite go for it. I went, oh, that was close. He said, no, he caught it. Because he was his mate.
He doesn't hold back.
He did call out, yeah.
No, he doesn't hold back. He's very good. He'll call it is. Let's keep shot now. In front, surely. Not, says the umpire. Looked fairly straight from here.
Well, it wasn't far away, was it? It was one of those, and you wouldn't have been surprised if the umpire finger had gone up.
Did he get out the line fractionally?
Possibly, but it was right.
So Luke Wright taking a chance there, gets away with it. He's on 7, and Dawson just steadies himself, comes in again. Second over from that pavilion, right drive, can't get it past. So this is a good over.
But it is particularly bowling to Luke Wright.
Yeah.
In the power play.
Yeah. This wicket was used this afternoon. Hampshire successfully defending a total of 171 for 8. Taking a note, although of course will be slightly different this evening as into the twilight and then under the light. Dawson bowls, Wright works that slightly to the vacant mid area, but he'll only single. Accurate stuff from there, and Dawson gets a round of applause on this decent here at the Ageas Bowl with 16 for 1. 3 has gone, and the away side having won the toss.
And I guess from a point of view, the situation will have to win every game, so you won't be leaving anything out there. The question that Johnny asked on when our programme was on air, it's advantage for with Hampshire because they've already played a game or played a game and they've been tired. How do you see it?
I think it's inspiring playing 2. I mean, I don't, because I haven't played it. Finals day's a different fish, isn't it? You get along, you along the whole atmosphere, the whole occasion, but maybe not. But I think come this evening, I think the Hampshire players will feel it. Feel it more, of course, if they feel it quite so much to win.
Yeah. So Hampshire, they are out of contention. One game here already against Essex. So we Scott Curran, who come in from this hotel ground right. We're right behind the bowler's arm. Bowls Luke Wright plays a shot. Width there from Luke Wright. It's one of his favourite shots. Either through point or through back point. He was just up on his toes and just gliding the ball towards third man. Lucky shot by the Sussex. He goes to 12 and the Sharks to 20 for 1.
He's very good at picking length that's just out of a length, isn't it? Very quickly staying inside the line, allowing himself the angle behind on the offside. He's a player that you'd be bowling a little short to.
Umpire-wise, Neil Bainton at the end.
In.
Right, at square, because in comes Curry bowl. And Wright swings right away. It's going to go for 4 runs. No, it's not. Yes, it does. Bounces, literally, just trickles towards the corner, but across the line from Wright, but with no one. It was a safe shot. And Wright back-to-back boundaries. He goes to 16 off 12. The Sharks 24 for 1.
Yeah, well, Scott Curry realising that perhaps he can't bowl back length to Luke Wright. He just pitched it a little bit further up. Luke Wright can't second guess that.
And a chance field as James comes down and has what Hampshire now. They are posting a field. It's a deep mid-wicket. It's got a fielder a deep square leg. Offside, there are 1, 3, 4, 5 saving 1, 2 leg siders. In comes to bowl to Wright, and Wright away to legs to hammer that through backward. Well, the ball is through to Bass, and there is no. You take a bit of pain there, do you think?
Yeah, he's a bowler, Scott. You know, he's only a handful of games. Very quickly has been a wicket taker for Hampshire. What he's learning is very quickly, and he does change pace.
Curry on his way in, fourth ball of bowls, 2 hammers that up down the ground, and that's going to be, I think that's for 6. Just back, well, in fact, the fielder has called 6. The umpire has called 4. Now, I think for 6, for Neil Bainton, who's going to change? The fielder, sportingly, said that was 6 as he went across the. But the umpire just signalled that 4. I thought.
Luke
Yeah,
Wright's just
yes, he. Well, I'm fairly certain the umpire signalled that was the fielder. I'm pretty certain that was 6. 28 to Curry and right up in the block and right forward plays it down the track. And there is good delivery. Curry.
just in that one.
Well, I really thought the fielder down there, number 57.
That's
Right. I thought he definitely hands up as if it was 6.
just trying to brush it,
Signing as well.
wasn't he?
Comes bowls and hammered by Luke Wright. Super shot. Going to race away. 4 runs. Thinks it can. Yes, it does. Hammered away. Extra cover. So 4 is off the over for Luke Wright. Cost 6. Got Curry. Sussex Sharks to 2 for 1 at the end of that. Luke Wright on 54 off 6 deliveries.
Right, kind of sort of second quite a lot of Scott over there, coming down the ball at the end as well. End of that, absolutely good back, isn't it? Really, and that's that anticipation of in next. There's a lot of cricket. You want to get it right, but gets it right most.
Yeah, he does. So having lost salt in the open, decent the Sharks, they were always going to 1 over, and maybe the over that Luke Wright at the target, but Will's going to bowl over.
32 for, and Ravi quite and that's there. He's pulled over to ground, and that's going for slightly short head wheel. It's on its way. 7 30 for 1.
Yes, with the fine leg up the circle, relatively safe shot from Ravi. Kevin was saying short and just away. Fine leg. Quick out. We've had a lot of run, but I mean that's did speed away.
Yeah, I think it was a long round. It seems to be. It's when you hit it, isn't it? It doesn't gather too much once it bounces. Now, next ball was very late there, and McManus quickly to his behind the stump. Whereas again, Sussex moved 8 31 in the.
So goes to the someone not players that go this.
The Brave.
Right. Okay. Be here. Right. That's a Sussex. Oh,
yeah, you're loads.
Oh. When I 11, including Rashid.
Wow. Should have lost more now than they might. And as well. Back to an inside edge. At least by Manis, it was buys. That fraction. Lewis did well there, flung him to his left, and Tom was asleep by the side.
Terrific. And I thought that was away for 4. You're right. Move away to Luke Wright. Quick to
Yeah. All through here. Will. Yeah. The Brave. Side. Dawson and Vince. The Grandon. Balls and that.
Around the been well here, Kevin.
If I'm honest,
right.
Yeah, I something I have asked about. To be tickets are really cheap.
Yes, yeah.
Which is good. Get your family to pay that as holes and into his by Luke Wright. Pro May dollars then Brad was not to. Luke Wright went shot there, just come off the edge, moves on to 5, on to 40, coming to the 5th.
He just had to get a bit there, didn't he?
Yeah. Caught on at home.
I think it's in to see a lot of Sussex other people. I don't know the audience that they're trying to attract. They're not attract members who are going to come to the bowl to watch.
No.
The new audience. I hope there is.
Hope so. I was giving himself Luke Wright. Is that out? Extra cover. He angle for him. Brad's over. C1 here. Not off it.
Live cricket DAB. Is it video solar or solar?
BBC radio frequencies. Yeah.
BBC. Yeah, Sussex. Adrian side. Maybe joined by Story. I think.
Picture feed.
Yeah. Difficult. I mean, even Stephen. 41 will sort out blow. Sussex having in the first. Sussex will be reasonably pleased. Recovered.
Teams the side are in the 45th.
Okay.
So it's
3 spin. That's an advantage.
That's an interest.
Right.
Because the Crane got a little bit, ball just sort of held it for a little bit. Darcy got a little as well.
Now, do you pronounce Dom?
Yeah.
The Grandon. Pulling it away. Balls and away. With a par. The edge of the.
It's just going to be this wicket slightly different later on.
Straight. I think rocket to Grandham. Was clipped away, and you can't buy to Luke Wright. That was a pause. Wright just helped backward a screw side. Picks up another. He goes to 9 off 9, and the shot 46.
Yeah, low. Booker overdone it. He's there for Luke.
Over by the 2 inside or outside the circle. On the cow. Nome is away from number 7 on the back of the shirt. He's balls and shot and pulled away by Luke. And that's going to be enough. That was 2. Looks annoyed to ground away by Wright. Through square. 50. Luke Wright goes through at the score. Scored off 33.
It was a cutter. Going down, but he just put it down just too quickly. Short.
3 off 20. Just wait to ground away, but is now wicket bowl pulled again. Luke Wright, but the fielder at kick, and it's to right. He goes to 4 off 20. He's to 51.
What the ticket for today, or how it's the princes, of course, is holders, what passport holders may be very. The price of one.
Yeah, to Grand Bowl away by be another fielder at deep mid. Hara to 12. He's very supporting. This is where it's good and is comes in, pushing the one, giving the right.
Yeah.
2 for right back on. Waits. And Homer's in. Also another leg. So help yourself. For Luke, be really annoyed. And he is annoyed. There's a pause down the full top, and that was for himself from who's moved 38. It's the end of the play, and 6 just scored
56.
So be pleased. Just a wicket in the open, the power play. Luke Wright on 22, 56.
Yeah, because the away side, 50 run between these. Well, when Salt was just over off Dawson for so Sussex covered very quickly. Adrian,
yeah, I think we're changing the to militia join for a few over.
Slightly than we were used to the afternoon, but found it. Lee bringing commentary. Myself, Melissa alongside me with Sussex 86 and Crane in. Going to see a few. That's for sure. 2 for 35 in the game. And the pavilion now. Bowls drive off the front up to Sharks 57 or what? Melissa.
Thank you. Not Hampshire, is it?
So these guys, that they can play the. I mean, they've affected by weather. They probably done better position. The points come to that in a minute. Let's try leg side. Right, gets on the. It's going in second place, 15 points. Yeah, all games play, give them over is comfortable than any in the table.
The North.
They prove that's driven to cover. So what do you reckon, Melissa?
I mean, Hampshire should much. I looks back in this game and in that game really hard power play.
We certainly train ball. The back foot is there. Luke steer the gap in side. Good. Mason Crane.
Continue. As these spinners to the power, then.
Finish that Mason Crane over. Mason Crane almost gesturing to the fielder. I think Darcy Short out there in the covers as though he was expecting him to be a little squarer. End of the over, 62 for 1.
I do think the Hampshire bowlers have not quite got things right. I understand obviously they're tired, this is their second game of the day, but the seamers have bowled too short and too wide, and that's why we've seen these flurry of boundaries come in. It's kind of up to spin now to drag it back. They've got the options: Dawson, 2 more overs, Crane, Darcy Short bowling that previous game of his leg spin, and then you've also got the option of Tom Prest as well, who bowls off break. So when we're going to see almost up to 12 overs of this game in spin, as I say, Darcy Short coming on at the pavilion end. So a spin option for Hampshire, and hopefully he's a bit of a golden arm, you'd say.
Well, let's hope so. His left arm wrist spin. Just got the odd one to straighten a bit, didn't he, this afternoon?
And I think with the experience of these two, as I was saying, in each of our games, we've seen these high-scoring partnerships early on. But as soon as that breakthrough is achieved, then there's a bit of a flurry of wickets.
Yeah.
So Luke Wright on strike now to Darcy Short. First ball floated up and just clipped down the ground easily to long on, just for a single. So we have a deep square, deep mid-wicket, long on, long off, and deep cover for Darcy Short.
I mean, it might feel as though Sussex have started well, and they have, but both Hampshire and Essex, after 7 overs, were both in the 60s this afternoon, so it's nothing out of the ordinary.
Short past the umpire. and that's driven into the offside. Just evades the left of point, who's chasing it down to the boundary, and deep cover comes around as well. Sussex batters sneak through for 2 runs. Looking for 3 there, but not quite. We do have big boundaries here, but I'm not in this heat. Do you really want to be running a 3? I don't think so.
No, I think you're right, Melissa. They're quite a deliberate forward sort of drive opening the face of the bat there from Bopara.
Both these batters looking very at ease at the crease at the moment. Short in, flatter delivery on the hip of Bopara, just clipped into the vacant leg side for a single.
Good crowd in. I don't think anybody's gone, have they?
I think, in fact, probably more people have joined after work.
You're right.
As you can hear, there's obviously some beverages have been consumed. Got a very rowdy crowd to our left, especially. Short in, and that's on the stumps. Again, worked into the leg side by Wright, just for a single, and fielded by McManus.
When we did a little wander around the ground, didn't we, in between the 2 games, and we were over. I bought you an ice cream, didn't I? And then Gemma, who does a bit of commentaries with us as well, she was standing there. I go, I suppose, Gemma, I'll have to buy you one as well.
She snuck in just to get the ice cream.
Bit of experience.
Short, full of delivery, and that turns a bit and straightens and sent back. So no run off that ball there. 1 ball remaining in this over. Sussex Sharks 67 for 1.
Yeah, but I did actually wander just outside the ground to come round to the hotel, and there actually was a couple of people leaving because they were asked. They said, "You coming back?" They said, "No, that's it. We've had enough." I'm thinking, really? Got another game to come yet?
Sunstroke. It's a vicious thing. Short final ball of the over, and that's down the leg side and swept but not timed as it goes to 45 for no run. So a good over there from Darcy Short. Perhaps the first one we've had without... Oh, gosh. I got ahead of myself there, Kev. I thought he'd got some kind of baton. It's a signal wide.
Just a wide.
Well, if Darcy Short can get through this ball without going for a boundary, I'll repeat exactly what I was about to say. So fingers crossed my commentator's curse doesn't... And that is, the ball comes in and strikes Bopara there on the pad. But it is a dot ball, so perhaps they're the first over in a while where we haven't seen Hampshire concede a boundary. Sussex Sharks 68 for 1, and spin the way to go here.
Yeah, 6 off that. We haven't had an over like that since the first. First over went for 6.
And again, Dawson bowled some good spells so far. Crane's bowled well so far, only his first over only going for 6 as well. So if I was out there and I was Hampshire, I would be bowling 12 overs of spin with them. It's a gamble, but I mean, these two, they don't seem to be finding the boundaries much against the spinners, and whether the pitch has got harder to bat on or whether it's just spinning a bit more and giving a bit more grip and turn, we'll see.
Well, the batters also have to give it a bit more, don't they? Hitting the shots, they have to be sure. If they're going to hit it in the air, they have to be sure that the ball's going to go a long way this evening. Hot evening, lovely evening. Great evening for T20 cricket, and Mason Crane is going to continue from the pavilion end, and his first over went for just 6 actually, so we've got actually had 3 overs that have only gone for 6, which is not a bad effort. That's immediately worked on the leg side up towards wide mid-on by Wright, who will come through for 2, and he moves on to 41. 68 for 1 here at Sussex, and we are in the 9th over now.
I think one thing to note, obviously Sussex unfortunate with the amount of games they've had rained off, but in most of the games they have got a win. Phil Salt has got runs. Right. Against Somerset, against Hampshire.
Turned away on the 45, quick single, fielded by Joe Weatherly.
So he put on 144 for the first wicket against Somerset, and last time Hampshire and Sussex played he got 72 not out, so that early wicket, you never know, it's probably playing in the minds of the Sussex batters and knowing that perhaps these two, this is the key partnership now.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, Phil Salt's a big wicket for Hampshire. Driven down the ground in the air, but it could be safe, or it's more than safe. It's gone for 6. Lovely strike of the cricket ball from Ravi Bopara.
And beautifully timed. He just stepped into that one. It almost looked like no effort had been absolute at all. But, I mean, Mason Crane, he'll be fine with that, I think. Getting him to play up in the air and take him on, it's what a spinner needs. That's how they get their wickets.
That's right. Hit down the ground, there's not a lot you can do, but a wonderful strike. Lovely swing of the bat through the line from Ravi Bopara. And that takes him on to 26. That's come off just 19 deliveries as Crane bowls. Slightly shorter this time, and that's whipped away on the leg side by Bopara, but it only goes out as far as de Grandhomme, who comes in off the deep mid-wicket boundary. And Sussex move on to 78 for 1 with 2 balls left of the 9th. There's going to be some really red faces and red arms in that crowd this evening, that's for sure.
There's a red face in the commentary box. I'm not gonna lie.
There was a few when we were in technical problems earlier on, that's for sure. Mine was the worst, as that's driven out to deep mid-wicket again. De Grandhomme fields, And Sussex move on to 79 for 7. Bopara back on strike. I'm going to have a cold shower when I get home, I tell you.
I've got a 2-hour car journey before I even get home.
Oh gosh, you haven't you? Here comes Crane, bowls. Oh, it's turned, and there's an outside edge there from Bopara. It goes quickly down towards third man, and Brad Wheel just picks that up and just pushes it back just inside the boundary rope, but they come through for 3. Bit of turn there for Crane.
Good bit of fielding, but very good running. Sussex saw that, and these two, such experienced campaigners at the crease, they're going to know now, and perhaps even if they listen to or watch some of the previous game, the really good periods, once those boundaries dried up after the power play, the good periods of gameplay when they were pushing the 2s, there's big boundaries here at the Ageas Bowl. There is 2s absolutely everywhere, let alone a 3.
Yeah.
So really positive stuff.
Certainly is, yeah. Again, we had a good partnership this afternoon, didn't we, where was it Wesley and Dan Lawrence threatened that Hampshire total of 171 for 8, but when their partnership was broken, things were slightly different. Well, Phil Salt went early, but these two now are going along very nicely. They've put on 78.
And I think they'll know here as well, there's no need for them to take any major risks. They've got a really good run rate of 9 at the moment. They can just afford to work around these spinners, wait for the seamers to come back on, and really take the attack to them in the final overs. But we have a change of bowling, so Darcy Short just the 1 over at the hotel end. Liam Dawson back. So far has bowled 2 overs for 8 runs, 1 wicket. Good economy rate. So he will be bowling to Bopara, now on 30 off 21 balls. That's a fuller delivery, driven down the ground to long off fielder. To Grandham Fields there. So we have a deep square, deep mid-wicket, long on, long off. And just some fielding adjustments to each of these players. That's the one thing about these two at the crease as well. They like to work it into gaps. So having these two at the crease, constantly pushing your fielders' placings all around the place, it's captain's nightmare.
As you know, because you captain a lot.
Worst is left-hand, right-hand combination. I think I have nightmares about that. Dawson past the stumps, for the ball outside off stump, and that's driven but falsely to the extra cover fielder for no run. Tom Press fields there.
Nowhere near out the middle of the bat there.
And again, I think Bopara was looking, Wright was looking to do similar, where they just guided it past that point fielder down to that vacant boundary spot. Dawson, third ball of the over, and down the ground comes Luke Wright. Hit powerfully, but there's a fielder down there at long off. So just a single again. This is fine for Hampshire. They'll be happy to give these singles. As we saw in games, the run rate suddenly drops from 9 to 7 or 6, and they'll consider themselves in the game. Dawson, 2 runs off this over so far, 4th ball, and that's cut away, but fielded in the gap by the third man fielder. Diving attempt there from the fielder, and stops a 4.
Trying to work out who that is, but yeah, as this ball gets softer, it should be a bit harder to hit the boundary, isn't it? Or hit the big maximum. That's with the spinners on, that makes it even harder. Dawson
past the umpire and steps away. Does Luke Wright and cuts it away, and the fielder on the boundary running around to their left. Throws it in, so the batters get 2 runs there. James
Fuller, who patrols that boundary. That's his boundary, isn't it, in T20?
It does. I think he likes being around the crowd as well, especially as certain of our few rowdy members. But I actually walked past him in the pavilion, which was quite nice. Dawson, final ball of the over, straight to delivery and just back foot punched to the extra cover fielder in the ring. So that's a dot ball to finish the over. Another great over there from Liam Dawson, only 5 runs for it. Sussex Sharks 87 for 1.
So they're a bit rowdy, were they, the members?
They were. Well, I think they were trying to generate a kind of a pitch or a universal ground chant of Hampshire, which didn't seem to catch on that much, I'm sure, with perhaps some of the older members of this crowd. But I'm sure I've heard some great, that I think the best would have to be Somerset. There is this man in the crowd who sits there and spends the entire game screaming it, which is lovely to hear, apart from the one time he was sat directly behind me. So nice to have a good buzz around the crowd here at the Ageas.
Certainly is. Darcy Short is switching ends now with his left arm wrist spin and bowls, and Luke Wright gives himself a little bit of room, angles it out in front of square on the offside, fielded by Liam Dawson. They complete a single. Sussex 88 for 1. Darcy Short's first over only going for 6. So as regards to spin, we've had 2 overs from Crane, 3 from Dawson, And this is Darcy Short's second over. So just waiting for Luke Wright just to have a look around the field and work out where he thinks the gaps are. Well, he knows where the gaps are. He's down the wicket and he hits that in the air. It's not going to quite carry to mid-on. One bounce to Brad Wheel. Thought he was going a little straighter than that, just dragged it across, didn't he?
Absolutely. A risky shot to play as well. I think at this point in time they can continue to just push these ones and twos around the ground.
Might not be so easy to hit sixes now with the ball slightly softer, and of course the slower bowlers on, although that's a big one. There's been no mistake with that one from Ravi Bopara, and that's 6 all day long over mid-on, and that's gone 4 or 5 rows back at the pavilion end. Well, softball.
Softball, clearly not.
No problem.
Hard enough to send it to the back row of the stands, but I think again, perhaps it is easier to hit those sixes, but when you're hitting through the line and it is pure timing, I don't think it's that kind of pitch where you can step across and heave it to the leg side. It's not a ground for slogging, because you get your money's worth if you play proper cricket shots. This outfield is quick.
Sure.
The ball's flying, it's a good pitch.
Yeah, I think you're right. So they got the ball back, which of course has to be cleaned because somebody in the crowd threw it back. And yeah, so what are we at now? Gosh, 95 for 1. Is it me? I can't remember. It is me. It's Darcy Short bowls, and that's turned away in front of square on the leg side by Ravi Bopara. They won the first one quickly, but well in Tom Prest came running in like a whippet to make sure that only one was taken. 96 for 1. These two are put on 92 now.
And Wright moving on to 49 not out, living up to his average. He's averaging 42 in the competition so far. Ravi Bopara averaging 36.
His short again. Oh, he's gone for the slog sweep, misses outside the off stump, and Lewis McManus has the bails off, but Wright keeps his back foot behind the line.
And we saw a few sweep shots in the first game here, but a few wickets actually fell from that sweep with top edges, inside edges on stumps. Just got to be careful here against spin.
Yeah, here comes Short again. Down the wicket comes Luke Wright and hits that hard, and that's maybe 6. Difficult to tell from here. It's signalled 4 by the umpire, but that was close either way. Lovely shot from Luke Wright, and that's a flat 4 runs. He moves on to 53 now, half century for Luke Wright. That's off 38 balls with 9 4s at the end of that over. Sussex are 100 for 1, and that's come up at the end of the 11th, 13 runs off it. Melissa Story is going to continue, and then alongside her will be Adrian Harms.
It has been an absolute joy to watch Luke Wright so far. Growing up even in my generation, he was one of those players in and around the ODI squad, but batting in this competition so far at a strike rate of 160, so it's no surprise that he is now on 53 off 38 balls. And these two players out in the crease playing some risk-free cricket right now. Calculated big shots down the ground off spin, but bringing the attack to the Hampshire bowlers. So we have Mason Crane to continue. Bowled 2 overs so far for 20 runs. That second one a bit expensive.
Yeah, he got one to turn, didn't he, Melissa? So there is a bit of help there for the spinners, but this is sort of vintage Luke Wright tonight. Good partnership between these two, because Sussex were 4 for 1 at one stage.
Crane in, and that's a flat delivery, and Bopara's quick on that, straight to the boundary for 4 runs. Loose ball from Mason Crane.
Yeah, you can't really bowl there to Ravi Bopara. It was a short delivery, wasn't it? And he just pulled the ball away for 4 runs. Lovely shot. And these two experienced campaigners are carrying Sussex towards a decent total here.
They are. They're making the most of such a good wicket. Crane in again to Bopara, and this one's driven but straight to the extra cover fielder. Driven hard, but for no run there. Bopara will be disappointed in that shot.
Yeah. So you were saying about 170 being a good score. Sussex will be disappointed if they don't get in advance of that.
Crane for the delivery, driven out to long off to ground home fields, just a single. Absolutely, I mean, from this position now, 1 wicket down, having those wickets in hand means that these two will be allowed to, they'll probably move on to the 15th over, and then they have the will to go for it. Or even now, I know a lot of batters, one agrees to go for it, one agrees to be the anchor, so it will be interesting to see the roles they have adopted. Crane in and a big swipe, and an appeal from the keeper.
And has it been given?
I think he has told him that perhaps McManus here has knocked the bails off with his gloves.
And not the ball.
But not the ball.
Yeah, well, certainly Luke Wright isn't going anywhere. I thought for a moment that the umpire, Ian Gould, who's at square leg, had raised his finger, but he hasn't. So Luke Wright remains on 53. He's faced 39 deliveries.
Crane in, flat delivery and quickly on it, pulled into the leg side. The field out there has a lot of work to do, but he gets round. Thrown in just for the one, so really good fielding there on the Hampshire boundary. Who would that be?
Yeah,
Short.
Yeah, I just thought for a moment that Luke had pulled that wide of the fielder, but it was a super shot.
And he's just timing everything impeccably here. Crane in, full delivery, and again driven to that extra cover fielder who's really in the game here. And these very rare dot balls we are getting are going straight to that fielder. But at the end of that over, Sussex Sharks 106 for 1 off 12 overs and absolutely racing towards quite a big total here at the Ageas Bowl.
They certainly are. You're listening to Melissa's story of myself, Adrian Arms, here on BBC Radio Solo, BBC Radio Sussex. A very good evening wherever you're listening on a glorious evening here in Southampton. The floodlights are on. We don't need them, of course. It's a lovely evening, Melissa, but we're going to get a change of bowling now from the far end of the ground, the pavilion end of the ground, and it's going to be, I think, Scott Curry who's coming back in to the attack. He's only bowled 1 over so far, went for 16 4 boundaries from Luke Wright, and he's just chattering away there to James Vince at the end of his run.
He didn't quite get his line right, and I think he was one of the examples of the bowlers in the power play who just gave these two batters too much width outside of stump, or bowled it too short and allowed them to throw their hands through it.
In comes Curry, bowling to Luke Wright, who hammers that one away, and is going to be caught by James Vince just outside of the circle. And that very good innings from Luke Wright comes to an end. I think Scott Curry just took a bit of pace off there, Melissa. Luke Wright was looking to hammer that one away through mid-off, but instead he skied it, and James Vince takes what for him was a very simple catch on the edge of the 30-yard circle. A breakthrough that Hampshire definitely needed. Right on his way for 54 off of 41 deliveries. Super knock, including 9 fours from Luke Wright. That's a big breakthrough.
It is, and as we say, I don't think Curry had the confidence to bowl his variations and slow balls in the power play, but it's good to see him coming back in his second spell and seeing a variation already. And from the first game already, when the pitch was just beginning to slow up, there is grip and turn even for these slower balls. So a tactic for the Hampshire seamers coming up from now should just be to hit that wicket hard and take pace off the ball, and wickets should follow.
Well, these were the two last week, because Delray Rawlins is coming in to join Ravi Bopara. Delray with a very good 50 last week, which saw Sussex over the line in their match against Essex down at Hove. Left-handed batsman. He won't be on strike because the batsman actually crossed. Let's go Scott Curry with the wicket with the first ball of his second over, figures of 1 for 16, which look a lot more respectable after Luke Wright rather took a liking to him in that opening over that he bowled. 3 men saving 1 on the offside, 1 on the leg, as in comes Curry, racing in towards us. Bowls to Bopara, who plays a lovely looking shot, just opening the face of the batter and running the ball down to Brad Wheel, who fields at third man. 1 more to Bopara. He goes to 45 off 30. And I suspect here that Rawlins has probably got a bit of licence, Melissa, to play his shots.
Absolutely. I mean, take a few balls to get your eye in, but if it's in the slot, absolutely go for it. Sussex back quite long, especially in their lineup today, and with Bopara, who's absolutely raced along to 46 at the other end, he can have some confidence that he can go for it.
Well, certainly he really mentored Delray Rawlins very well last week in that run chase against Essex. As Curry again running from the pavilion end in towards the left-handed Rawlins, who just covers up and plays quietly onto the leg side. Brad Wheel comes from the edge of the 30-yard circle at fine leg to field, and Rawlins is on his way, and the Sharks to 108 for 2. Sussex winning the toss and batting first. Just a reminder that Hampshire have already won 1 game here today, beating Essex. As in comes Curry again. Right time over wicket, bowls to Bopara, who again just works that one down to third man. It's fielded on the edge of the 30-yard circle by Darcy Short. 1 more to Bopara. He goes to 47 off 32 deliveries, and the Sharks to 109 for 2.
I always find that guy down to third man just such a magical shot. I'm not sure whether it's because I've never mastered it, and every time I edge the ball I pretend it was intentional, but it's just Bopara has played and used that shot so well this innings.
In comes Curry, bowls short to Rawlins, who pulls that one away. Be disappointed to have missed out there. He didn't quite time it. Pulled down to short, fine leg, fielded on the edge of the circle by Brad Wilson. Just a single to Rawlins. He goes to 2. Rather missed out there, Melissa.
He did. It's at the start of your innings, not quite seeing it yet, and he'll be in his head going, why didn't you hit that ball? But it's the risk Curry will play as well with some of these third balls. Some will come out perfectly, like that first ball, which got the wicket of Luke Wright, and that one not so perfectly. In
comes Curry, right on over wicket bowls to Bopara, who just plays that a little dab backward of square on the offside. He takes a single. It is the end of the over, and a good over from Scott Curry, who was under a bit of pressure, having conceded 16 runs in his first innings. In his first over, and the Sharks are 111 for 2. Bopara on 48, Rawlings on 2.
So it'll be interesting now with Crane has 1 over remaining. Curry still has 2 overs remaining. So will Hampshire continue to pursue spin? The answer to that is absolutely yes. Crane looking to bowl his final over now. Bopara sits on 48 not out. A very, very good knock so far, and looking potentially to anchor this innings. Bat throughout and see Sussex to a big score. Crane in, and that's cut away by Bopara. Head towards the offside boundary. Fielded in the deep there by Scott Curry. Just for the single, bringing Rawlings on strike.
Well, he hits a long ball, does Delray Rawlings, and I just think here with, 7 overs to go, Sussex with 2 wickets down, as we were saying earlier, he's got an opportunity here. He does strike a long ball.
Crane past the stumps, and a reverse sweep comes out from Rawlings.
Good shot.
Dissects the 2 fielders in the ring and heads towards the boundary for 4 runs. Very well timed, well placed, and innovative shot there from Rawlings early in his innings, and it's the kind of dynamic innovation, as I say, the youth brings into this side. You have the classic innings of Luke Wright, followed up by Rawlings coming in early in his innings. We see that reverse sweep. And often, Melissa, and you would know this, in days gone by, you would think that the reverse sweep is a risky shot, but these guys practice it so much. It was played to perfection by Rawlings. For the ball by Crane, swept away more conventionally by Rawlings, but in front of square, fielded by de Granton at long on. Absolutely, and I remember being involved in the Vipers Academy and stuff. There would be workshops entirely dedicated to playing spin, especially sweep shots and reverse sweeps. Crane in, and this is a straight ball driven to extra cover for no run, fielded by James Vince. Good over this. I know he's gone for a boundary, but he has turned the odd one here, Mason Crane. He is, and with a Sussex lineup of 3 leg spinners. Well, it will be interesting. They're going to be absolutely licking their lips at this wicket. As we see Crane come in, 5th ball of his over, and that's a thick edge down to the man in the ring who fields the ball, and they get through for just a single. So, and that brings Ravi Bopara's 50 runs up off 36 balls, a strike rate of 139. And what a knock there from, as we say, such an experienced campaign. It has, and we haven't seen the best of Ravi Bopara until the last couple of games. Made 62 last week against Essex, not out, and another super knock tonight. Crane final ball the over. Bopara strongly hits that down the ground to the long on fielder. They look for 2, but just hesitate. But that means Bopara stays on strike for the next over. So, the Sussex Sharks 119 for 2 here on BBC Radio Solent, BBC Radio Sussex. Ravi Bopara on 50, 36 deliveries. Delray Rawlings on 8-5. The 2 batsmen out, Phil Salt and Luke Wright. Glorious evening here at the Ageas Bowl. Blue sky, floodlights, decent crowd in. And this game intriguingly poised. Sharks 119 for 2. Essex have to win this game if they're going to stay with a chance of qualification. A win for Sussex will see them into the quarterfinals, and a third win at Canterbury on Saturday would see them secure a top 2 spot. First things first, and it is going to be Scott Curry who's going to carry on. Moving ball 2 overs. His last costing just 5. Comes into bowl to the left. Did Rawlings, who pulls away, and that's a big blower. Is he going to be caught? No, not. Too short from Curry, and Rawlings pulling the ball away on mid-wicket. I think that's Darcy short on the mid-wicket bound. He had no chance. Sailed over his 6 to runs. He goes to 14, and the Sharks to 125 for 2. Kevin James with us.
Yeah, nice shot, wasn't it? Really short arm, a pull over mid-wicket. We keep an eye on the Glamorgan Somerset game to see, of course, because of Win Somerset would 30 by Hampshire. 165 for 5 in the 20. Somerset.
Yeah, and there's another game up at the Oval. Kent could secure top spot in if they beat Middlesex. So under strength and with COVID restriction. I'll give you that score. moment's time. Curry just enforcing that left side boundary as he comes running in to the left-handed Rawlings. He's in course of Rawlings, hammers down the ground. A lovely shot. Beautiful pick-up. Smash down the ground, over long off, and back-to-back sixes for Delray. And that was a beautiful shot. It was right in the slot. Just played it beautifully over mid-off for 6 runs. Lovely shot. Right at the bat.
Was, yeah. He threw the line, wasn't it? Strikes well here, doesn't it? Off 7.
Yeah. Made a very good half century last week. He's in for the lovely strike ball. The left-hand Rawlings income. Again, bowl short, and Rawlings ducks. He's about pulling that well. But a welcome ball for Curry. The Sharks to the 31-2, having the toss. Entry for Luke. Phil out for 4. We're changing the field because finally inside the circle comes Curry and balls and just waits and plays quietly to grand hole fields at backward. One more to Rawlings. He goes 21. Sussex 132 for 2. We'll see how these Sussex spinners bowl here, Kevin.
Yes, it will. Khan, well, played a lot of cricket.
Well, no, none. Yeah, he has. There's Barbara on strike. 50. Wait for Curry. Plays up leg side. That might leg by. This should wait for Pies signal. Yes, indeed, it is leg by. Go to 132 for 2. 133 for 2. Papara on 50. Rawlings on 21. Yeah, I've spent the last couple of weeks in isolation. Available for this game and the final game at the weekend. Will be off. I know not where in the grid. I'm not sure if he's or I think he's somewhere else. Really. There's in Curry over the wicket. Oh, short pulled away. Rawlings. Is he going to be? No, he's not. Bounces just a up short of Darcy Short fielding on that deep mid boundary. So to Rawlings, he'll retain the strike. The Sharks are 130 for 2. Rawlings on 22. Papara on 50. Curry 3 over maidens. 1 for 35. But that wicket, important wicket, Luke Wright.
Yeah, and in the context of the game this afternoon, Sharks are ahead actually. Both scored from Hampshire and S at this particular stage, so they're on for about 180. And maybe push it a little bit. They'll be hoping for 80 will be a decent total, that's for sure. Just a repeat of success defended scores of 170 between 70 and 180 over 3 games here. So 180 will certainly be hard. Here's Liam Dawson around the wicket. He's bowling last over. Raw hips up in the air. He's going to put an extra cover. Simple catch. Thank you very much. Rawlings exits the playing area for 22. Sussex Sharks lose their wicket with a score on 1-4.
What a piece of bowling, Liam Dawson. He's been by far the best Hampshire bowler. Look at his 4th over. 1 for 30. He really has really well, and the danger. Delray Rawlings for 22. Super innings from Rawlings. The batsman will be another player who you saw here in a couple of years ago, 50 over game, catching the ball around Ageas Bowl is David. So that was a knock and a half game in which at the end Hampshire won.
Fun game. But it was a big hug, wasn't it?
Oh, it was a big. I in mind sort of 170 odds, and he was hitting the ball miles back.
Yeah, it wasn't big enough.
It wasn't. And from memory, I think St Crane came on with the ball just all around the ground, have a couple of wickets, and yeah, to win the game.
He looks Chris Gale walking out.
He's a bit like it as well.
I was going to say he's the right Chris Gale, isn't he? Yeah,
the super figure Dawson, 3 overs, he's a couple of wickets, including Phil Salt and Rawlings 2 for 15.
2 wickets for Dawson, 2 catches for Vince. Welcome back into the team.
Yeah.
So David V, tall right hand, face Liam Dawson, who's running away from us. Left arm wicket and bowl, driven into the ground, driven back to Liam Dawson. Dot 3. Round of applause from in the crowd. Natured crowd. It's been a good crowd. All socially different. I have to say, it's all fairly even around, isn't it?
Yeah.
No clusters crowd anywhere, really. Is Dawson Visa on the back row, can only Mason mid-wicket. Top balls here to David Visa.
Also been called in the T20 or is he?
No, not in it, no.
Right. Well,
he was called in, well, he was the original one-day squad.
Yeah.
And then of course they all had to go isolate for a while. But he's back.
Terrific spell of.
And he is in the game. Visa, line of middle and leg. Just work way down to 5. That's a single. Don't mind that. Every 3 balls, get away with it. 1-5 for 3.
Had much time in the middle, David Visa. The amount of game 6 have had rain.
Yeah.
Losing 5. The what? 12 games. And you look at to neighbouring counties, they've lost 1.
Yeah.
To the west.
It's not fair.
No, it's not fair. It's been very down in Hove.
But a bit of time off.
Well, one of them went to 4 points overs the game against. Well, what more ball in it? Even Sussex would have. Don't talk about that because that was controversial.
I heard. Controversial. Word got around.
Well, not so.
Bowls and. Bottom edge there. Ravi ball goes out to. That could have gone. He was aiming it through. Or Dawson. But a single 51-36. Yeah, 1 ball left. What's going on there? Was it beforehand?
It was raining in the wind, but you know it was fine. A minute of the over, about minutes later, it hurt, and as it was always to. But
4-5 overs game. Drift to the bowler, and that's a good over. Liam Dawson to his 4 over. Terrific thing. Overs 2 for 16.
Really is brilliant, isn't it? When you think for 130 of them for 3, and Liam just gone for 15 in his overs. That's a wonderful of bowling. So, James Vince, someone could do something similar from the. Do you call the pavilion in, Kevin?
Do call it the pavilion.
Mara goes to 52. And Hampshire have just managed to get the brakes on in with that terrific spell of bowling by Liam Dawson.
Yeah, it's amazing what a wicket does, doesn't
yeah,
it, really?
Absolutely. You were saying, you know, Sussex will be looking at 180. They still will be, but what can Short do? Left arm over the wicket bowls, pulled away by David Visa. It's just a single out to deep mid-wicket field out there by de Granholm, who gets in the throw. Visa goes to 2. The Sharks to 138 for 3 here on B. Comes short again, driven by Bopara straight. Now that's a super shot. That's going to go for 4 runs. That's gun barrel straight. Big left foot down the wicket, just hit right through the line of the ball. That's a lovely shot. Nothing much you could do about that. He's got a field at long off and 1 at long on. It was right between the pair of them. Bopara goes to 56 off of 40 and Sussex to 142 for 3.
It was hit hard as well, wasn't it? It's hit hard. It does come out in the middle of his bat, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's in good form, Ravi Bopara. We didn't see the best of him last year, and he's spoken about how difficult it was coming to a new county, particularly during lockdown. But still showing he's a fine T20 player. His income short pulled away by Bopara, and that's going to be caught, I think. No, it's not. It just goes over the head of Granholm, who got himself in a good position, but just sailed over his head at sort of a wideish mid-wicket, almost cowl corner. So 4 and now a 6 from Bopara, who goes to 62 off 41, and the Sharks to 148 for 3. That's a big hit.
It is a big hit. It's the same hair, but it's Tom Prest.
Is it? I'm sorry.
That's right.
Very similar hair.
Yeah, yeah. Models himself on him.
So Bopara waits. In comes Short again, bowls, and Bopara's at it again, and this time I think he's going to be caught at long off, and he is caught. And Bopara is on his way. Short gets his revenge, caught by Scott Curry, and Ravi Bopara's very good innings of 62 off 42 balls comes to an end. And the Sussex Sharks 148 for 4. Lovely knock though, Kevin.
It certainly was a good knock. He timed many of those shots. He didn't time that one. I think he just chanced his arm one too many. Maybe that was the over where he thought that he should start to go big. And having hit 2 big shots, I think he just got carried away there a little bit. The other two were on the leg side. Well, certainly straight and leg side. That was a bit more offside, and that wasn't out of the middle of the bat. But a good shot. Well, the previous two were good shots, and a good catch from Scott Curry.
Yeah, and I guess all I would say from here on is that the Sussex big guns are really sort of all gone there. Let's see who comes out now. I'm imagining... So, Rashid Khan, his first appearance for Sussex in the competition this season. He came out and a 5 high with Darcy Short. So many of these players would know each other from T20 franchise cricket around the world, as in comes Short of bowls, and Visa just plays that languidly down the ground too long on. He picks up a single, does Visa. He goes to 3 of 6 deliveries. The Sussex Sharks to 149 for 4. It's the end of the over. Short, 3 overs, no maidens, 1 for 32. And over that cost 12 runs from Darcy Short, with the important wicket of Ravi Bopara, and nothing like wickets for showing down the run rate, Kevin.
No, Hampshire will be hoping to just keep picking off one or two of these Sussex batsmen. De Grandel's bowled 1 over 15. I don't think we'll see much more of him. We've got Brad Wheel back into the attack. He's got 2 overs left, 2 overs, none for 15. Scott Curry's still got an over, 1 for 35 from the youngster so far. Darcy Short has another over if James Vince wants him. So Brad Wheel then, from our hotel end, our commentary end, the shadows beginning to go across the ground, right to left as we look, and in fact most of the pitch now is in shadows. And Brad Wheel then with an important last 2 overs from him to try and keep this Sussex total from being too high. Bowls, it's full, it's down the leg side, it'll be a wide. Oh, they're shouting for a catch behind. Maybe bat just hits the ground. Or maybe it was a bit of kidology.
Yeah,
which I
or
know
maybe a bit of both.
I knew you thought it was kidology.
Yeah, maybe a bit of both. I think David Visa is the key. I mean, you never quite know how Rashid Khan's going to play. So he hasn't played, he's been in isolation for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But if David Visa gets going here, Sussex will feel that 180 is very much on the cards.
Well, I hope Khan, from a Hampshire point of view, plays like he's been in isolation. 150 up for Sussex then with that wide, and that's full, that's well bowled. Visa tucks that nicely off his toes to backward square leg along the ground, and Visa moves on to 4, that's off 7 deliveries. Sharks are 151 for 4, and Rashid Khan about to face his first delivery. What's his scoring rate usually in this sort of competition? Does he sort of gets on with it?
Well, yeah, I mean, to be honest, when we didn't see him last year because none of the players were over for the T20, but when you look at his stats, he does score good runs around the globe in these various
good all-rounder then.
Franchises. Yeah, absolutely.
He's better known for his leg spin, of course. That's a good short delivery. Who just off the glove plays that on the ground. The throw comes at the bowler's end. He would have been gone.
Yeah, he would.
If Brad Wheel had hit. Good short delivery that from Brad Wheel, and Khan didn't know much about it. Fortunately for him, off the glove, it went to ground.
You're right. Good bit of fielding. Had he hit, he was way out of his ground. Was Rashid Khan.
Obviously hasn't done too many sprints in his hotel room. 152 for 4. Mind you, how many people do sprints in hotel rooms?
Got to be a big hotel room.
I was going to say, that'd be a suite. Here comes Wheel, runs away from us. Length ball's down the leg side. That's another wide. Visa trying to hit that away on the leg side, and Brad Wheel just bowling, or just starting the line just a little too straight, and it's just straying down the leg side.
I mean, in terms of what's to come for Sussex, I would say these would be the big guns now. I mean, Harrison Ward is a young player, Ollie Robinson, Mitch Claydon, Archie Lenham. So you'd think if big runs are going to come, that it's these two, and particularly the South African David Visa.
Yeah. Hasn't got going yet. As Wheel comes in again and bowls. Length ball, hits that away on the leg side. Hasn't really got hold of that. It's gone in 1 bounce. Gone out on the leg side. Ooh. And they're coming back for 2. Good running, actually. I think that might be Joe Weatherly out there behind square on the leg side.
Yeah, it was good running because Rashid Khan had actually stopped, having taken that first single. He was quite surprised to see Visa coming back, but in the end it was a comfortable 2.
Yeah, Visa will want the strike from now on, won't he, as we are halfway through the 18th here at the Ageas Bowl. And so Visa will face the next delivery from Brad Wheel. Comes in, runs away from us, and it's full. He gets wrapped on the bottom of that bat, actually, onto his boot, and it goes out on the offside. Well bowled.
Yeah, good delivery.
Visa isn't going to hit that out of the ground. But it's going to have to be pretty full to him most of the time, because he'll be looking to open his shoulders soon, that's for sure.
Did you do that, Kevin? If you mistimed the shot, did you look at the bottom of your bat like David Visa's doing now?
Yeah, all the time. In fact, I did it a lot more than he did. It always seemed to be in the bottom of my bat.
He's rehearsing where he wants it to go.
Yeah, it's just to let the crowd know that it's when it comes out of the middle, it will go big. Here comes Wheel. Bowles swings it well. That's a good Yorker as well, and that's literally played straight into the ground by Khan, who's quite nice there, and actually picks it up and helps Brad Wheel as he underarms it back to him.
Yeah, you don't normally see batsmen do that. That was
good. I think that's an acknowledgement of a very good Yorker.
Right. Okay.
But you're right. They shouldn't really do that.
Is it something that you would have done? I mean, did you, if you were feeling generous towards a bowler, or did you normally make a fielder come in and pick the ball up?
Depends which team it was.
Well,
really. Sussex.
I bet you made the fielder
Sussex.
come in.
Definitely made them do it. And it depends who the bowler was as well. And if he was very, very quick, I'd say, here you are, Mr. Whatever. Here's Wheel, and he's trying to work that away. He gets wrapped on the pad, and he's wrapped. In fact, he's missed the pad, and it's hit the top of his leg.
Oh dear.
And that has hurt. We saw that in the England one-day international earlier, didn't we, against Pakistan, the game where Vince got the 100. And Khan is down. He's poleaxed. He just missed the pad totally, and that will hurt, because if it hits the thigh just above the knee, that hurts. That's painful. That must have happened to you. Well, he's gone down. Yeah, even in a very low grade of cricket that I played, well, he didn't have thigh pads. But he's gone down, Rashid Khan, and he does look in a good degree of discomfort. He looked to play that one away on the leg side. He hopped away out of his crease, and he's lying prone. Physio John has come running out to treat him. Yeah, and he's just stretching out his right leg, so we've got a delay here at the Ageas Bowl.
Rashid Khan is up on his feet. It's a bit like a footballer, isn't it, when they're injured and they stand up and sort of flex the knee, and the physio is saying, "Are you okay?" And I don't know if they have a magic sponge in cricket. He doesn't look in great shape, Rashid Khan. I think he's going to carry on. He's just flexing that right knee, or the right leg, I should say. There's a bit of a discussion going on. He's going to carry on. He's putting his helmet back on. So there are 2 overs to go. Sussex are 156 for 4. Rashid Khan is on 1. David Visa is on 7. The penultimate over is going to be bowled by Scott Curry. Thank you very much to the stadium announcer who helped me out. And he's going to be bowling to the right-handed South African David Visa. So 3 men on the offside, saving 1. There's a short fine leg. The other 5 fielders scattered in an arc from deep square leg to deep cover point, as in comes, and he's driven away. Oh, that's a huge blow by David Visa. Is he going to be caught? He is caught on the edge of the boundary, and that's a terrific catch, and I'm uncertain whether that is de Granholm who's got the catch, or whether it's Tom Preston. That was a huge blow by David Visa to the long part of the ground. He was right on the boundary of the edge. I'm a big favour of, if you get your fielders on the edge, put them right on the edge, and that's exactly what happened, and that's a really fine catch. And that's a big wicket getting David Visa, and the run rate has just slowed a little bit here for Sussex.
Yeah, we saw this in the first game with sort of wickets towards the second half of the innings, and certainly Hampshire, they probably, I mean, 170 was a good total, but they were on for 180. And Essex were going along nicely with Wesley and Lawrence, and then when they were out, you know, they fell away as well. So we might be seeing the same here. Just very quickly, there is a T20 international going on this evening. Pakistan 232 for 6 against England, so England will need 233.
Wow, someone's gone around the park there.
Who we got, who's gone the most? Mahmood, 4 overs, 1 for 46.
In comes Scott Curry, bowls to Rashid Khan, who up and over and down towards third man for 4 runs. That was a nice shot by Rashid Khan. He just waited for that, a little bit too wide from Curry, and Rashid Khan just stepped inside the line. I just played a lovely shot over backward point for 4 runs. No third man. Khan goes to 5, and the Sharks to 160 for 5.
I tell you, like Parkinson went for 47 off his 4. So that's the most expensive.
That game being played.
Oh, no, you done me.
Right, I think it might be Trent Bridge. In comes Curry again, and Khan hits this one over mid-off, and that has gone for 6 runs. That's a huge blow by Rashid Khan. Well, he can hit a long ball. We didn't see him down at Hove last year. He's hobbling back down the wicket. There's not much wrong with his bat, because he's just hammered that one over mid-off for 6 runs. So 4-6 in this over from Rashid Khan.
He's not really running too many singles.
No, he goes to 11 off 5 deliveries. It's just what Sussex needed. And a bit of a conversation between Scott Curry, who's now gone for 45. He's still got 3 balls to bowl as well. Curry in, bowls, and Khan again plays out, but I think he's going to be caught. The fielder's lost the ball, he doesn't know where it's gone, and it's just landed to his right. That was extraordinary. It was played away by Rashid Khan, and the fielder out on the deep cover boundary was saying, well, where's the ball? I can't see it. And if he had seen it, Joe Weatherly, it would have been a simple catch, but he couldn't see it, and he was saying to his teammates, where's the ball? And when he eventually saw where it was, it dribbled over the rope for 4 runs.
He's not
That's
even
extraordinary.
he's not even looking to the sun. Sun's behind him.
In comes Curry, bowls again, and Khan is hitting this one away. He's going to get more runs, this down towards fine leg, and that's another boundary for Rashid Khan. Well, you said, can he hit a long ball? Well, the answer is yes, and this over has gone for 4-6-4-4, so 18 off the over so far, and Rashid Khan has gone to 19 off of 7, and Sussex to 174 for 5. And now 180 is very much on.
Yeah, it certainly is, yeah. Perhaps it's bad news that Khan did get whacked on the thigh there, because now he really does have to go for it, and he is.
Well, he's hobbling around. Well, and there have been shots all around the ground, down to fine leg, down to third man, over mid-off, and down to extra cover. As in comes Curry, bowls, and Khan squirts this one. This is going to be a single fielded on the edge of the circle by Brad Wheel. And there is still 1 more ball to go in this over. Sussex 175 for 5.
It's going to be a good total, this.
Is it 1 more ball? Or is that... No, I'm sorry, there's a wicket off the first ball, wasn't there? My apologies. So, end of the over. And the Sussex Sharks are 175 for 5. Rashid Khan is on 20. The new batsman, who's Harrison Ward, is yet to score. And Scott Curry, expensive, 4 overs, no maidens, 2 for 54.
Yeah, 19 runs off that over. Good striking there from Khan, and Sussex in a good position here, 175 for 5, with 6 balls left of their innings, and Khan, the dangerous Rashid Khan, to face the first of the last 6 balls, bowled by Wheel. It's hit up in the air. That's just a short arm jab, but it's going over mid-off, and it's going 2 bounces for 4. He's not doing anything there. He's not hitting he's not sort of, the bat's not flowing through the line. It's just a little short arm jab.
I tell you what, you wouldn't have minded his bat, Kevin.
Oh, that is a serious bat he's got. He must have some serious forearms and a serious bat in his hand, because that's just a jab. It's a stab at the ball, that.
Well, when it went in the air, initially I thought that's going straight to mid-off, but it sailed over to Grunham at mid-off, and that's prompted a conversation between James Vince and Brad Wood, because at the minute it's very difficult to know where to bowl to Rashid Khan, because wherever it bowls, it's disappearing for runs.
It's got to be Yorkers. It has to be. Mid-off and mid-on back, and he's got to go Yorker, because if he gets it wrong, well, that's fair enough. But if he gets it right, then there's nothing Khan can do. I mean, a good Yorker's a good Yorker, but 24 off 9 balls, this is a right little cameo.
It is.
From Rashid Khan, but he's pushing third man back, which is interesting, and he's got mid-off back, which would suggest that he might be bowling length. I don't know. You wouldn't bowl full with a mid-off up, because if you get it wrong, it's going way over his head. Might be leg stump full. No, it's short. You're right, it's short. And he's trying to work that down to third man and misses. Maybe this is the right attack.
Yeah, he was looking for that, wasn't he? Looking to play it down and just to glide the ball down.
Yeah. But I mean, it had to be shorter with the third man down, because there's your insurance. But now Vince and de Grandhomme are having a word with Wheel. Perhaps they're saying, look, just mix it up. But the field would have to change with that as well. But it's staying the same. So my guess is this is going to be another shortish delivery. or full on about leg stump, and hope that Khan knows. Here we go. Mid-off's going back, so this will be full. Third man up. I think Khan knows that it's going to be full as well. So a ring of fielders on the offside, but de Grandhomme at deep mid-off. Here comes Wheel. It is full, and that's whipped away square on the leg side. Should only be a single. Khan's suddenly motoring now. What happened to the injury earlier on? He's home. Well, there's no injury there.
He's like an Olympic sprinter there, wasn't he?
Oh, it's like a professional footballer. Out for the count 1 minute, running 9-second 100 metres the next.
Well, you're quite right. I mean, I thought when it was played to mid-wicket, there was only a single there, but he was like a hare coming back, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Very quick between the wickets.
No signs of that injury for sure. 26 he's on now, 181 for 5. 3 balls left. This is going to be full as well. Full it is, and he's wrapped him on the pad. Well bowled, Brad Wheel. So the third man is up.
But again, Kevin, that shot on the leg side, it was just like a little jab, wasn't it, really? It wasn't a full flow of the bat.
Just amazing forearms he's got. I don't think I've seen shots played like that. I've never seen a shot over mid-off that's just been a sort of a stab at it.
You know, real back
Very
lift.
odd, very odd. So mid-off and mid on the back, so this has to be full again from Brad Wheel and about middle and leg. And I'm sure Khan knows as Wheel comes in, he's going to step across, and he's wrapped in front of the pad. That's got to be out, LBW. We had all our fingers up here, even Adrian Harms, one of his own players. He walked right across his stumps, missed it. Wheel wraps him on the pad, and Khan goes for a great little innings of 26 or 13 balls, 181 for 5.
Well, that was absolutely plumb, wasn't it? Nothing really Neil Baton, there wasn't a decision to be made there. He was absolutely in front. He was looking, as you say, that little short arm jab was maybe to pull that one away over mid-wicket. But he's done his job, Rashid Khan. As you say, a nice little cameo. 181 for 6. The new batsman making his way out is Will Beer. What have we got left in this over, Kevin? Just the 1 ball of the innings remaining.
Yeah.
Competitive total from Sussex? A
yeah,
winning
definitely.
total? Or?
Well, it's up there. As I say, the last 3 games here, Hampshire have successfully defended scores of between 170 and 180 to varying degrees, but all reasonably comfortable. So this will be tough.
But Hampshire with nothing to lose. I mean, they have to win this game, so they won't leave anything out there, as they say in football terminology.
Yeah. Well, I hope they don't sort of go, well, they'll have to go mad pretty quickly, but I hope they don't go too mad. So Beers to face the last ball. It's full, and Beer works that down to mid-on. They'll get 1. I think they'll just run 2 anyway, will they? Throw comes in from Curry, and 2, they're home. And it's good running. Scott Curry had to do a little bit of work down there at mid-on, but I suppose when 2 batsmen just go for it, then 2 runs is a pretty good option there. So 183 for 6 here at Sussex, and that, Adrian Harms, is a decent total.
Yes, so we'll have to see. I mean, Sussex not off to a great start. Phil Salt out for 4, but Luke Wright, as ever, holding the innings together at the top of the order. He made 52, 62 from Ravi Bopara, a nice little cameo from Rashid Khan, who made 26. So we'll be back for coverage of the second innings between these 2 times. But I think until then, Kevin, we're going to go our own way on our frequencies.
Yeah, we are, and we'll be back on the stream as soon as the Hampshire reply begins. James Vince are out there in the middle as well. I'm Kevin James, and Melissa Story, former Vipers Academy all-rounder, will take you through for these first 6 overs of the power play. Hampshire chasing 184 for victory here, and Melissa, 183 for 6 Sussex. That's a challenging total, at least a challenging total, isn't it?
That is. So Hampshire's scored over 174 times this season, but they were all batting first. And actually, they're only 2 successful run chases so far. They were chased down 165 against Somerset and then 138. So they've not had to chase a total this much so far this season. So it's a good thing they've got their England guns back in the squad, because it's going to be one hell of a challenge.
It certainly is. So it looks like David Visa from the far end. He's going to be bowling from the pavilion end. He's going to be bowling to James Vince, who this afternoon made 63, carrying on his good form of the week. I think he made just a small matter of 100 for England earlier. That's edged over the top of first slip, and that's going to be 4 runs. Short and wide there from David Visa, and Vince went after it.
Well, good start. Boundary to begin with. Doesn't say on the scorecard how it's scored, but nothing wrong with a thick edge.
Yeah, so David Visa with his right arm medium quick bowling. The Sussex innings built around 62 from Ravi Bopara. That was off 42 deliveries. Half century for Luke Wright, 54 off 41. And a little cameo from Rashid Khan, 26 off 13 at the end. Visa bowls and Vince steers that off the back foot to backward point, fielded by Delway Rawlings.
I must say, Rashid Khan's innings was perhaps the strangest batting I've ever watched on earth. Everywhere he intended to hit the ball would go for 6 in the other direction, and had quite a bit of flair. So hopefully he continues that on into his overs today, where I'm sure we'll see him bowl his full allotment of overs.
Yeah, he got a painful blow on the thigh, didn't he, while he was batting? I'm sure that would have stiffened up during the break. Be interesting to see how he bowls, but it doesn't bowl off too many paces. Now that's hit hard in the air by James Vince, and that's cut away. That's 1 bounce for 4. Short and wide again there from Visa.
And that's what we've seen in the first innings. If you bowl short, if you bowl wide, if you allow the batters any width, it's going to go straight to the boundary. It's absolutely flying here at the Ageas.
Certainly is. I mentioned the Sussex batting. Liam Dawson, the most economical of the Hampshire bowlers, 4 overs, 2 for 15. Mason Crane, 4 overs, none for 34. Darcy Short, 3 overs, 1 for 32. The other wicket taker, Brad Wheel, 4 overs, 1 for 30. His Visa from the pavilion end again and bowls, and Brent tries to hit that away off the back foot, misses, and it goes through to keeper Phil Salt.
Phil Salt, who of course got his England call up recently, did pretty well there at the top of the order. Unfortunately didn't get as many runs today, so he'll be looking to contribute with the gloves. And I mean, we've seen some great wicket keeping today. McManus, I think four dismissals in the earlier game against Essex. None in the most recent game today, but still impressive.
Yeah, made 4. Phil Salt. He's playing a missing outside the off-stump, and there was a couple of the fielders there getting a little bit excited. I think Ollie Robertson there at first slip thought that Vince might have got an outside edge. That just nipped away a fraction.
It did, and we've seen hints of swing some elements of the day, but I actually think most of the bowlers haven't pushed it full enough to actually make the most of that, because out of all the bowlers, the seamers, they have been a bit too short and a bit too wide, as I mentioned. But I like this slip from Sussex. It's attacking.
It certainly is, Melissa, as Visa bowls. That's a drive by Vince up towards mid-off. That drive off the front foot ends the over. 8 without loss, 2 boundaries in that Visa over. Remember, Hampshire are chasing 184 for victory. Vince has all 8.
So the required run rate here for Hampshire, 9.3. It's a big ask. Even, those 8 runs off the first over, suddenly you're already behind the run rate. And I mean, they bat deep here, Hampshire, but I think they can be careful. They know that in the power play there's an opportunity to get a lot of runs. But in those middle overs, once all 3 of Sussex's leg spinners come in, or leg break bowlers, they've just got to push those 2s and 3s around the ground.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough chase. Hampshire will need a little bit of luck. Sussex, just a couple of overs to squeeze Hampshire somewhere along these 20 overs, and that'll put real pressure on them.
So we've got Ollie Robinson from the hotel end. Returned to Sussex recently. So here we go. First ball past the umpire, and that's on the stumps, but clipped off the hip of Short. So he gets off the mark, which he'll be very glad about. And Darcy Short, as we were saying, he's had a few starts in this competition, especially more recently, but he definitely owes Hampshire a big score, you'd say.
Yeah, he does, yeah. No half century for him so far. 30 in the game this afternoon. It's about
what we get from Darcy Short, isn't it? You know, he threatens to get going and then bang.
And people have seen what he does in the Big Bash League for Australia, and it'd just be nice if he can carry it to these conditions. And what a better day than chasing down 180 odd as Robinson comes
past the stumps, and that's on the hips of again and running towards the boundary. Vince nicely plays that off, and 4 runs off the hip.
bit too straight there from Ollie Robertson, especially when your fine leg is up on the 45. It's asking for trouble, but of course you can't bowl too wide outside the off stump either. It's a nightmare in the power play.
It is. There's that corridor, which obviously you speak about in Test cricket, but it's the exact same here. Nothing's wrong with a good line and length. And as in all 3 innings we've had so far, as I mentioned, large power plays, most teams reaching over 60 runs, so without taking much risk. And so, as we see from that shot with Vince, no risk, but 4 runs as Robinson past the umpire, and that ball's fuller and it hits James Vince. Perhaps an inside edge there onto the back pad, but no run.
Just came back a fraction, just a fraction off the seam. Darcy Short was taking off there. Hampshire can't afford a quiet over here. Need momentum straight away in this innings, and Sussex will know that.
And Robinson, not express pace, but still that, I feel like it's that taunting pace almost on a wicket like this, where if he can come out and just either hit the deck at a good length, and then later on in the innings bring out these variations, then he could be a very useful bowler for Sussex. As he comes in again, fourth ball of the over, and that's a hoik over mid-wicket fielder towards the boundary. It plugs slightly in the ground as 2 fielders chase it, but 4 runs to James Vince. So his 4th boundary now already in this innings, operating in 4s here, James Vince.
Yeah, it's got the crowd going a little bit. There's quite a few people in yellow Hawks tops this evening, isn't there? Quite a few sort of dotted around, which is nice to see.
Distinguish the home fans out. And I know Darcy Short made a little fan club on the boundary to our right down there when he was on the boundary. Ollie Robinson now, see what he's got as a reply, and that's short and wide but mistimed cut, and James Vince, exasperated, throws his bat in disgust at missing out on that opportunity. Just back of a length wide but mistimed.
Yeah, I just think it was just a little cutter there from Ollie Robinson, and the ball maybe just kicked off the turf a fraction, bit of extra bounce.
The big question is, how early will we see spin now from Sussex? Are they going to back their seam in these first few innings, or have they noticed now from all these innings, let's bring on spin as soon as possible? We've got the options.
They have plenty.
Final ball of the over then from Robinson, and that's tucked Vince up into his hip for no run. Good ball and a good line there from Robinson to finish the over. So only 9 runs from it. The required run rate slips up to 9.3. Hampshire 17 for none off 2 overs. But the key thing there, no wicket lost.
No, that's for sure. Yeah, Hampshire need to keep as many as they can for later on, because this run chase is going to get very, very difficult indeed. Another little cutter there from Ollie Robinson, didn't it? Just went off the straight ever so much, just a fraction, just enough to wrap James Vince on the pads there. So good over from Ollie Robinson. Clever bowling, intelligent bowling. And,
looks like, is that Luke Wright with the ball?
No, Mitch Claydon.
Oh my word!
Mitch
I was going to say.
I think he said he's retiring at the end of this year. I think I read that somewhere. This is going to be his final year. He's been around a long time, Mitch Claydon. Yeah, I've just been told in my ear that that's true. So here he is then. Right arm over. Comes in from that pavilion end and bowls. Wrapped on the pad there, Darcy Short, as he's trying to work that out on the onside. No run. Ball's hitting the pads here a little bit, Melissa.
They are.
It's not out the middle of the bat enough for me.
No. I see that required run rate jumping up and up, and it's making me uncomfortable. But, I mean, that first ball, it was quite much speedier than I was expecting there from Clayton, because I'm not sure how old he is now, but he's been late 30s. He's been around the circuit for a long time, but that first ball was exactly the spot he needs to be aiming for.
Yeah, Yorkshire, Durham, Kent, now here at Sussex. Always beaten outside the off stump. Good delivery there. And what he's always done well, Mitch Claydon, is he hits the deck. Quite broad-shouldered. It's all sort of in the shoulders, and just gets the ball to hit the deck a bit, and been a good bowler for a long time.
It's quite a formidable Sussex bowling lineup. If you consider as well, obviously Chris Jordan on England duties, George Garton still isolating from when he was with the England camp, and then Tymon Mills injured earlier this season. those three waiting in the background as well. It's just incredible.
A lot of options, haven't they, as Clayton bowls, and that's whipped away on the leg side by Darcy Short, but not really timed as it goes out towards deep square leg. That's a single only. Short will move on to 2, 18 without loss, but the spin options, you're right, quite a lot for Sussex. Will Beer and Archie Lenham, of course, and Rashid Khan as well. We should see plenty of slow bowling here this evening, unless, of course, one of them gets hit out of the park, and then they won't be bowling all their 4 overs.
Just got to hope Hampshire's got the confidence now. I mean, Short's been starved of the strike here by Vince so far, only 2 off 2 balls.
Yeah, 11 balls Vince has faced. This is his 12th, tries to work that away on the onside, doesn't time it, but found the gap through mid-wicket, and it's along the ground for 4 runs. He used his feet there, James Vince, swiped it away on the leg side, but that's not come out of the middle of the bat. But he hit it hard enough to take it past the fielders.
That's a very James Vince shot. If you would look at his entire armoury, it's the cover drive, which they've got that defence for a bit, but he just likes to take those few steps and almost, as we say, a tennis forearm down the ground. And even though you say mistimed, but with this quick outfield, anything throughout the ring's going for 4.
Yeah, moves on to 20. Immediately there's a response in the field with third man coming up and backward point, Delway Rawlings going out on the boundary, but still no deep mid-wicket. James Vince full of confidence after that 100 in midweek for England. Mitch Clayton was just about to bowl there, but not sure what was going on in the field there, but pulls out of his run-up, walks back to the top of his mark, and he's ready to bowl again. 22 without loss, then 2 balls left of the third as Clayton comes in and bowls to Vince. Vince swaps that over mid-off, that's going for 4. Lovely shot, and the crowd, especially to our left, enjoyed that one.
Had my heart in my mouth then when I didn't quite get the angle right, and I was like, oh no, he's just going to do what Salt did, hit the ball straight towards mid-off, but just, I mean, safely over his head.
Yeah, it was, yeah, just cleared some room there. His front foot didn't come down the line of the ball, it just came down the line of leg stump, just opened him out, and he hit that nicely over mid-off. 26 without loss, Vince on 24. Here's Clayton again, bowls, and Vince drives conventionally along the ground this time, and they'll take a single. Throw comes in at the bowler's end, it misses. Phil Salt cleans up, and that is the end of the over. 4 overs gone in the power play, 2 more to do. Hampshire 27 without loss. Sussex, after 4 overs, had 32. Early days, but Hampshire not too far behind even now.
I think, as we mentioned, the key is not having lost a wicket. Vince, in the form he's in, if Hampshire are going to win, he needs to stay in there.
Yep.
Short, it's worth him getting his eyes, his eye in, but actually I'm hoping he doesn't get too deprived of strike gigs. From a lot of Darcy Short innings you'll see, if he's kept off strike, then he'll play perhaps not the smartest of shots, and I think for Hampshire's, success in this game relies on a strong opening partnership for sure. Yeah,
it does, yeah. They need a big start, that's for sure.
Ollie Robinson to continue from the hotel end. His field is deep cover and a deep square leg. Bowling to James Vince, who's now on 25 off 14 balls, in excellent form here, the Hampshire skipper. So a shorter ball is tucked away past the inside, fine leg field and straight towards the boundary. 4 runs off the first ball of the over. Again, straying onto the pads of James Vince, leisurely pace and just too short.
He's trying to bowl cutters here, Ollie Robinson, isn't it? And that's just a little bit too straight and a little bit shorter this time, which allowed Vince to just swivel away on the leg side. Dave Allen actually tweeted a little earlier at Sun Sport. The last time Hampshire chased more than this total and won was 2015 against Kent at Canterbury, where Vince got 99 not out.
Robinson past Thompson. That's short again and slapped away, but there's a deep cover fielder out there who fields the ball. That will only be a single. So bringing Darcy Short, the left-handed Darcy Short, back on strike. I mean, do you say 96 not out, was
99
that?
99 not out, I remember
99.
it. Yeah, I remember that. And Hampshire's highest ever successful T20 run chase happens to be against Sussex. It was 205 for 4 back in 2008.
And as we were saying, we thought this run chase was hard. I don't know how England's feeling right now. Robinson, 3 balls, the third ball of the over, that is. And this strays onto the pads of Short, and he flicks that away for 6 runs. Flies straight into the hover cover on the boundary, and just like that, don't bowl at Darcy Short's pads. If that is any advice to the bowlers, do not give him width and do not bowl on his pads, because that is what will happen.
And that's his shot, isn't it? We got used to that, haven't we, really? Anything leg stump, he flicks it away, and he flicks it away hard.
And it's a release shot. We've seen that he's been starved at the strike quite a bit. He was struggling to get going with James Vince taking most of the balls, but just by giving him that, he's now got his first boundary under his belt. It's an expensive over so far for Robinson, 11 off 3 balls, and this ball is just cut to third man in the ring for no run.
That's a good ball from Ollie Robinson. That's about the line he wants to be bowling, doesn't he? Sort of middle and off. Don't give the batsman any room on the offside, but don't get too straight, because Darcy Short will flick you away.
There's hardly any margin for error here, and it is just about hitting that top of the off stump, that 4th stump line, what you're taught in the nets as a kid.
Definitely.
So a good dot ball there from Robinson. 2 balls remaining. Hampshire 38 for no wicket. Robinson in, and this is a slower ball, and it's clubbed in the air. Could a fielder get round this, but no, over his head, and it's plugs in the outfield.
Backspin.
Backspin, almost. That was incredible.
He's been watching too much of the Open.
He's somehow timed that, and it landed probably, what would you say, about a foot within the boundary rope. Looked like it would be a 1 bounce 4, and just almost flew back to the
I don't think I've
fielder.
ever seen backspin on a cricket field. That was amazing, wasn't it? You won't see any backspin like that at Royal Sandwich.
2 runs scored then for Short off that ball. Robinson, final ball of the over, and this is a straight delivery, tucked short up for no run, fielded by backward point. So a good second half of that over, but still an expensive one. 13 runs off the over, Robinson. He's now bowled 2 overs for 22 runs, and Hampshire 40 for no wicket off 4 overs, but on the required run rate.
Well, they are, and they're only 1 run behind Sussex at this similar stage, and they'd already lost Phil Salt, so there is nothing in this between these two. But of course the trick is go through the 20 overs like this, which, as we know, doesn't always go like this the whole time.
Easier said than done, especially with those spinners waiting in the wings. It's easy for us to sit out here, yeah, it's looking absolutely fine, but as you say, a big partnership early on is key, and these two have just got to be sensible when the spin attack is brought in, which appears to be now.
Yeah, Rashid Khan, yeah, they're having a chat, aren't they? They're having a long chat in the middle as to how they're going to play this.
2 international or batters who have represented at an international level. They've probably faced Rashid Khan before, and they should know how to navigate the situation. What we've seen in the earlier game today, especially when the likes of Tenduscarter, remember he threw away his wicket in a situation where Essex was still definitely in the game, and it's this kind of experience we've got to make sure you can't mess up and lose a wicket.
So Rashid Khan then, he's got a few balls at his disposal, the leg spinner, the toppy, the googly, he's got the lot. And he's bowling to James Vince, comes in, and Vince drives up towards mid-on. That'll only be a single. Delray Rawlins picks that up cleanly with his nice orange boots.
I did notice them, because obviously you see a lot of England players with quite flashy footwear, and he appears to be the only one on the pitch with non-white shoes on. So
He does, yeah. Yeah, he loves a loud shoe, does Delray. 41 without loss then. Start of the 5th. Oh, it's the start of the 5th over, isn't it? So we've only had 4. Is that right?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think you're right, yeah. Oh, I was an over ahead, actually, with my sum up at the end of the last over. Here's Khan, bowls to Short. Short cuts that away, fell into the gap. That's 4 runs in front of square.
And the danger of bowling a spinner in the power play, which is a risk Sussex, you know, they've got runs on the board, it's worth taking. 1 boundary won't cause too much harm. It just depends now. That ball span a lot, and it almost span into a wide delivery where Short could easily put that away to the boundary for 4.
Nice shot, yeah. So apologies, I was an over ahead of myself. Hampshire are actually quite well ahead at the moment. The corresponding
I was a bit
stage.
confused when you sounded so pessimistic last over. I was like, I swear we're ahead, Kev.
Yeah, I'm getting too ahead of myself. Short drives into the ground, and Khan fields on his follow through. He looks a bit hacked off there, Rashid Khan. I don't know why. Maybe his thigh is hurting him.
Potential. I don't know if there was a bit of a word there. He's quite a passionate bowler, I feel, Rashid Khan. Obviously operates a lot in the IPL and the Big Bash, so probably quite a feisty customer.
Yeah, quite animated, I should imagine, as that's just tucked Darcy Short up, but he finds the gap anyway, backward of point, and there's a chase on here, and Will Beer that is, and he can't get there. And that's just touched the rope, and he's not going to come back. Oh, he signalled 4. He was rushing back there, and I thought surely he's not going to allow that one. So good shot there from Darcy Short, and he moves on to 18. That's off just 11. 49 without loss here, Hampshire.
This is very achievable here, although to add to the collection, Hampshire's only scored 184 or more 9 times in T20 batting history. Batting second, that is.
Right, so not many. Remember, this competition goes all the way back to 2003. Khan bowls on the line of middle and leg. Short works that away on the onside for a single. Doesn't look as though there's too much there for Khan. Khan and Short having a chat with each other. Quite a long chat, actually.
And the 50 runs up for Hampshire in just 4.5 overs. So positive cricket here from Hampshire, and perhaps this can be the 10th win of them batting second, chasing over 180.
We'll keep an eye on that one. Vince has got 31 of those, Short 19. It's Vince back on strike. Khan bowls and down the leg side, and it's half stopped by Phil Salt, but that'll be a wide. Waiting for the umpire, Ian Gould, to signal, which he does. And 51 without loss here, and Khan still has another ball left of his first over. None for 12
and
so
that
far.
Required run rate just down to 8.7 now.
They're ahead of the game, Hampshire. As Khan comes in again and bowls to Short. Short cuts that away, doesn't find the gap this time. He goes straight to Visa, and that is the end of the over. 52 without loss, 5 overs gone.
Absolutely brilliant start for Hampshire here. Both of these two batsmen have batted, I'd say, incredibly sensibly. They've just waited for that looser ball to hit the boundary and really capitalising on it.
They certainly have.
Good so far.
Certainly is. So a bit of a mixed over there from Rashid Khan, but then again, if you've been stuck in your hotel room for as long as he has, I think he can be forgiven for having a bit of a ropey first over. It's how he comes back from that, of course, that will count.
A slight limp there from Rashid as well, obviously, as you mentioned, being hit on the thigh. So it's the classic, as soon as you bowl a bad over, just start putting on a limp.
It's my thigh. My thigh's affecting me.
That's why. Yeah. My thigh's affecting my arm going over. I just can't control it.
He's too good a bowler, though, to be out of the game for too long. Mitch Clayton back into the attack after his first over went from 10 at the pavilion end.
So we have a deep square leg, deep mid-wicket as Clayton in. That slingy action driven down the ground over the head of mid-off for 4 runs by James Vince. Another comprehensive strike down the ground, bringing him on to 34 off 18 deliveries, 35.
Yeah, it was in the slot, wasn't it? It was in the slot to pick up over the top.
And that is the problem. With someone of Clayton's pace, a bit more medium pace, you can't, again, afford to give the batters width. James Vince just guided his hands through that ball and held the shot for the non-existent cameras here. Clayton's second ball, what's his reply to that? A straighter, slower ball, clipped off the legs of Vince to the deep mid-wicket fielder, who's speedily on that ball. So they just get 1 run, although there's an opportunity of overthrows.
Nearly.
But backed up by 2 fielders there. Again, I think the Sussex fielders on the boundary getting quite a bit of stick from the remaining but lively crowd here at the Ageas.
Good crowd. No, they've been a good crowd today. Oh, we've got the beer snake to our left. Look, 3 or 4 guys just walking around. Can you see them?
Oh, fantastic. This is my first beer snake I've seen of the season. But I'm pretty sure those cups are £1 if you return them, so that might be a money-making scheme. As we have Clayton into Short, and that's a dot ball up in the hips of Darcy Short for no run.
How many cups do you reckon there are there? They're coming down the steps now. They're coming down towards...
See, it's disguised as a beer snake, but that's about £45 there. Because I've seen loads of kids at T20 games, they'll go around picking them out from under seats, and every time you return them, obviously you get £1 for each one. Yeah. It's like collecting golf balls. Every time you see a golf ball, collect it, sell it. Well done to those lads down there, outsmarting the crowd. Yeah. As a Clayton in again to Darcy Short, and that's a slower ball, but a bit shorter, guided in a semi-pull shot to the deep square leg fielder for just a single again. 1 boundary off the over so far.
Great way of collecting empty beer plastic cups as well, isn't it? Means you don't have to have so many cleaners at the end of the game.
They are actually going around and forcing people to neck off their drinks now as well, so stoking some alcoholism in the crowd here. These poor spectators. As Clayton in again, 2 balls remaining in this over. That's short and just swiped to mid-on for no run. Fielded there by Rashid Khan.
Look at them, they're walking around the edge of the ground now, just to our left.
The worst thing is all these bright yellow Hampshire tops, you're so used, especially at crowds at Edgbaston, when you see yellow you assume they're in a banana outfit. So every time I'm seeing a Hampshire fan, I'm just imagining them dressed as a banana, which is quite nice. 1 ball remaining, Hampshire 58 for none. Just the 6 runs off this over so far. 1 ball remaining, and that's slapped through the side for 4 runs to make that a good over for Hampshire. 10 runs in the end. And again, the commentator's curse. I think I just need to personally say, need a boundary here. It will magically come. But Hampshire finished that over 62 for no wicket.
Thank you very much, Melissa. Melissa Story will be back shortly. There's no money back on those cups, apparently. I've just been texted from the ground. But Melissa was just about to go down there and grab some and collect the refund on the way out, going back home. The actual beer cup chain has just been broken, but I think they've now put it together. But they've been very careful as they walk around the ground. 62 without loss at the end of that power play. Sussex were 56 for one. Adrian Harms.
Good start, isn't it, by Hampshire? And I see that there's been young Archie Lennon coming into the attack. Took a wicket with his first over at home against Hampshire.
Did.
And Sussex, well, they need a wicket here because these two are batting very nicely.
Yeah.
So he's turning to his 16-year-old Rashid Khan, expensive in his opening over. Going for 12, so it's going to be Archie Lennon, who's going to come in from the pavilion end to bowl to the left-handed Darcy Short. 7th over, good contest as in comes Lennon. Bowls short, pulled away to the 5 runs. Too short, and Darcy Short with a little sort of short-arm jab pulls that back to the square. The ball races away for 4 runs. Good shot.
You can't bowl middle and leg stump to Darcy Short. It flicks it away, whether it's short or whether it's full, and it's his strongest shot by far.
So Hampshire rattling along here at 10.7 and over. They need to score 8.53 and over. So Hampshire on top at the moment. As in comes Lenham again. Bowls and Short plays this single up towards. They would take 2 to Rawlins. I would doubt what they are going to, and that's dangerous. I have to say that's excellent running by James. He was running to the non-strikers, and not many take 2 to Delray Rawlins, who had a way to come in off the boundary, to be fair, but good running, aggressive running by Vince.
Yeah.
Short picks up a couple. He goes to 26 off 17. Hampshire 68 without loss. And in again, bowls and slightly shorter and just played into the offside. Short extra cover fielded by Luke Wright. Dot ball.
There's a little bit of turn there for Lennon.
There was a bit of turn, wasn't there, from that in from Mason Crane a little earlier on.
Yeah.
Floodlights on, wonderful scene here at the Ageas Bowl as in comes Lenham and drives again straight to Luke Wright, who fields a bit of fielding on an old wicket end there from Luke Wright. 2 dot balls from Lenham. 68 without loss, once on 40, Short on 26. 16-year-old Lenham on his way again, straight approach to the wicket. Bowls, and Short just plays that quietly onto the leg side. They've taken 1. I don't think they'll take 2 on this occasion. Harrison Ward comes in and fields 1 more to the total. Short goes to 27 of 20 deliveries. Hampshire 69 without loss.
Somerset look like they're going to beat Glamorgan. Glamorgan needing another 90 runs here from 4 overs, chasing 181. They're 92 for 8. I think it's all over. Somerset with 2 points there, probably.
Lenham. Final ball of his opening over. Bowls to Vince. He hammers that away. Only to the sweeper on the cover boundary. It's just a single fielded out there by Ollie Robinson, who gets in the throw. So decent over from young Archie Lenham, just going for the 7-8 runs in the over. Hampshire are 70 without loss. James Vince on 41. Darcy Short on 27. Lenham 1 over for 8. And I wonder where Luke Wright is going to turn now. It looks like it might be more spin. It looks to Reem like it might be the left arm spin. Delray Rawlins is coming into the attack. Is it Rawlins? No, he's not.
Well, yeah, we haven't seen him yet.
No, we haven't. Bit of a discussion going on. I wonder, Luke Wright's wandering across and giving a word to Ravi Bopara. So there's a bit of a debate going on, and I think it is going to be Rawlins. So quite possibly we're going to see 4 spinners here for Sussex tonight.
Yeah.
Khan, Lenham, Beer, but he's turning to the left arm spin.
So why would he turn to Rawlins before Beer?
Good question. You know, you'd have thought Will Beer is only Sussex bowler to take 100 T20 100 wickets in T20 cricket. He's a very reliable bowler, is Will Beer. But he's gone with Rawlins. The important for Hampshire is, Kevin, they haven't lost a wicket.
No.
Plenty of... I'm just looking at a comparison. After 7 overs, Sussex was 62 for 1.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, because Delray Rawlins turns the ball away from the bat. No Will Beer's down to the leg spinner, but he doesn't actually bowl turning it away from the bat. There tends to be a lot of googlies, don't there? I'm just wondering because it's going away
Possibly.
from the bat here. It's Rawlins then, but bowls, it's fired, it's pulled away by Vince. That's going to be 1 for 4. Square on the leg side. 2 shot from Rawlins. Bit of a loosener. Can't be bowling those at the moment. Not to James Vince. He moved on to 45, 74 without loss.
Well, he's in terrific form. A wonderful 100 against Pakistan in the week. his first international 100, and he looks in prime form.
63 in the first game this afternoon, and that's cut away to back with a point. Well, field, no gap there.
Yeah, good bit of fielding by Bapara.
Yeah.
He needed to as well, because it would have been 4 runs if he hadn't got round quickly to that.
Yeah. It's 45 off 24 deliveries. Here's Rawlins again as the light begins to fade, and that has turned, and that has missed the off stump by very much. Then just opening the face of the bat, trying to find that gap between backward point and extra cover. Nearly, that was his doing.
Delivery from Darrell.
Now you can see Rawlins is bowled. It's on the line of leg stump, and that's swept away from a good length by Vince. Doesn't quite get hold of it. On to 46, 25 without loss.
The other game in this group, Kent consolidating their place at the top of the table. Middlesex were in all sorts of troubles, like 5th or 8th last time I looked.
Oh dear, we'll have in a moment.
So it's still bubbling up.
80 out Middlesex. Kent won by 77.
They're having a shocking season, aren't they, Middlesex?
Even that good.
It really is.
75 at the loss here. 2 balls left for the 8th. Rawlins to short. Short tries to cut and misses. Again, he's been on the outside edge there. Away Rawlins, not over this.
No, gone for 5 so far.
Yeah, good move. Bringing him instead of in front of Will. Bowl again, short, set away on the left side. Runs the first one quickly. He might look for 2 here. And they're turning. Who comes in? As Ara dives. He's
Good running.
over's gone. 2 runs to reach that Rawlins over. It was a good one from here. Went for 7. 77 without loss, Hampshire, and each time they get up to the right rate, it goes up just a fraction, and it's almost from here in. Well, in fact, the required run rate is nearly 9s, and the run rate at the moment, well, they're not too shabby, 9.5.
Yeah, 9.63 is the current run. Needs to go at 8.92, and at the 8 over, Sussex 68 for 1. Hampshire within is in front. Of course, they haven't lost a wicket either. Rashid Khan is into the attack. His open over was expensive, going 12.
Yeah.
Don't see that often from Rashid Khan. He's going to be to James Vince. He's got a deep good square field, cow corner on long off, sweeper on the cover. 350 saving one on the offside. Short fine as James. Fine innings by the Hampshire skipper.
Yeah, that 100 has certainly helped him. He hadn't had a 50 in this competition up until today.
Wow.
Now he's got 2.
Well, he looks in prime form. Super knock, coming in just 27 deliveries. Hampshire to 81 without loss. Khan in bend. Pulled away by Vince, or looking to pull that one on the leg side. Rashid Khan is dancing down the wicket with his arms held out, appealing to umpire Gould, I presume for an LBW.
Yeah, it's too high, I think.
I think it was too high as well.
Yeah.
And to be fair, Phil Salt, the keeper, didn't join in either.
No.
So a dot ball.
Rashid, I'm sure, thought it was 100% out.
All bowlers do, don't they? Khan waits at the pavilion end, comes running into bowl to James Vince, and Vince drives to short extra cover, fielded there by Luke Wright. Khan sort of looks pensive and just sort of holds his chin as he wanders back to his mark at the far end of the ground. James Vince surveys that leg side field. And Rashid Khan waits again. James Vince on 50. Hampshire 81 without losses in again, and forward comes Vince. And I just wonder whether the tactic is here to see, you know.
Yeah, you've got to be careful. You know, with a bowler like Khan, you don't want to be taking the same sort of liberties that you would others. So you would say, yeah, well, you know, we'll be careful here. If it's there, we'll hit it, but otherwise, don't be silly. Khan
in again, bowls. A short pulled away by James Vince. Again, thumps into the pad, deceiving James Vince, who was looking to pull that one away on the leg side. It's another dot ball. The required run rate goes up to 9.22 and over. Hampshire currently going along at 9.17.
It's good over this one, much better than this first.
Yeah. Khan in again, bowls, and Vince just works that one to backward point, fielded there by Harrison Ward, but a single to James Vince. 5 runs coming off of the over, a much better over from Rashid Khan. However, Hampshire are still yet to lose a wicket. They're 82 without loss at the end of the 9th over, and Sussex were 82 for 1. So this is close. Good game, Kev.
Yeah, it is a good game at the moment, no doubt about that. Good over from Rashid Khan. That's a sign of a good bowler, isn't it? First over, a little bit ropey. Second over, right on it.
And he is a box of tricks, isn't he? You're never quite sure what he's going to bowl.
I've never really seen the guy bowl much before. I think whenever Hampshire played Sussex, there's always been a reason why he's not played in T20 or for whatever reason. So it's probably only the second time I think I've seen him bowl.
I don't know what it's like to keep to. A nightmare, I would think.
Oh, gosh. But he's not turning much, so probably not quite as bad as on some of the supers. That's a horrible delivery, and that's pulled out the ground. And to be honest, he's lucky to get away with that.
Yeah.
That should have been pulled into the New Forest. That slipped out of the fingers. If I say it bounced halfway down, I'm actually being nice to him. So that was a horrible, horrible delivery.
It was. It was pulled onto the concourse, actually, Kevin. It went over the seats and onto the concourse, so not far from the New Forest. I think it slipped out, didn't it? But often a delivery like that, the batsman is so surprised. Often you could think, hit it straight to a fielder. I mean, you've seen that happen.
Well, as soon as it came out of his hand, I thought, oh, be careful, please, Mr. Vince, because I've seen wickets like that. I'm sure you have. Just a horrible, horrible delivery. I don't think we'll see any more like that, not just tonight, but for a long time. 88 without loss. I wouldn't expect that over the park on Sunday mornings.
Is it me or you? I've forgotten.
It's me. Here's Rawlins. Bowls, that's better, but it's still pulled away, and that could be 6 more. Yes, it is. What's Rawlins started here? Again, that's too short. It wasn't as short as the other one, but Luke Wright's going to come along and have a word with him and say, look, you really cannot be bowling there, because James Vince is going to hit you out of the park all night.
Well, he's leading from the front here, James Vince, isn't he? And well, you would know better than most, Kevin, that the game's all about confidence, and he just looks like a player who's maybe that 100 has lifted a weight off his shoulders, who knows, but he's batted beautifully here.
Different gravy. 63 this afternoon, 63 this afternoon. You know, sometimes there's a little bit of luck involved.
Yeah.
You know, he's not played badly in this competition, but he's just never really got going, and the first time he makes a mistake, he's out. Well, that doesn't always follow for the whole of the group games, as that's whipped away behind square. Just a single. Vince moves on to 64, 95 without loss. We're halfway through the 10th. You usually expect to have a little bit of luck somewhere along the line. I think maybe he's just starting to have a little bit now. Mind you, there's nothing luck about hitting those out of the park. You could be well out of form, and those are the sort of balls that you really want to be facing.
Well, Sussex need a wicket here to get back into the game and slow the scoring rate, because these two are rattling on at 10 and over at the moment. 13
off the first 3 balls. That's cut away by Darcy Short on the 45. That'll be a single. Brings Vince back on strike. Don't think Delray Rawlins will be getting another over after this. Will Beers probably thinking, why on earth didn't I bowl in front of him like I would expect?
Yes, I mean, his first over was a good over, didn't he? Just conceded the 8, but this is...
average. Here's Rawlins, bowls, it's Fuller, and that's pulled, slog sweeped away, that's 4 more. Along the ground this time from James Vince, but the slog sweep again across the line. But it's 100 up for Hampshire, and that's come up towards the end of the 10th. They're motoring along here.
Well, they are, and despite having those 2 fielders on the leg side boundary, and Luke Wright now is in conversation with Ravi Bopara, just trying to think of how on earth Sussex can stem this flow of runs. And I can now see, is that Lenham who's warming up at backward point? I think it is. So still no Will Beer. Well, not so far. I wonder whether we might see a bit of Ravi Bopara just to mix things up another bit.
I was going to say, it's ideal for this, isn't it? With his slower balls, quicker balls, and all box of tricks. And Vince cuts away, having given himself some room, and hits it out to deep cover. And that is a single to end the over. He scored over half the number of runs in this partnership between him and Darcy Short, and Hampshire reach 101 at the halfway stage. 10 overs to go.
Yeah, at the same stage, Sussex were 87 for 1. That was an over by my reckoning, went for 19. And we are going to see a bit of Ravi Bopara, who I can just see is wandering away down to the pavilion end of the ground. The 2 batsmen having a natter. I mean, Hampshire going along at 10.1 and over. They only need to score 8.3 and over. With 10 wickets in the bank, you'd think it's a good game for Sussex to win here.
Yeah, it's the required run rate from here on in, which isn't too large, is it, really? That's pretty much when you were listening to James Vince and the reaction from the England players the other night when Vince got the 100, and Lewis Gregory gave him great support, didn't he?
Yeah.
Phil Salt got some runs at the start.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Vince attributed the fact that they got away to such a good start that they never felt under pressure throughout their innings. They're doing very much similar here tonight.
Well, it is going to be Ravi Bopara who's going to come in from the pavilion end to bowl to James Vince on 69 of, I think that's at 37 deliveries.
Yeah.
His in comes Bopara, bowls, and Vince hammers that one away through the covers. There's a sweeper on the cover boundary, but a comfortable single for Vince. He goes to 70 of 38, and Hampshire to 102 without loss.
Got to be a little bit careful here when you're facing Ravi Bopara. He just sort of ambles in, turns his arm over, and you think, well, this should be going out the park, but he's clever, isn't he?
Yep.
Changes of pace, little cutters, little swingers, full, shorter.
Yeah,
never
absolutely.
two balls are never the same.
In he comes, bowls, and short just works onto the offside. They need to be quick here. The throw comes into the bowler's end from Will Beer. Misses the stumps. I think, in fairness, short was probably home.
Slight hesitation from Darcy Short initially, though.
There was. But Hampshire picking up a run off a single off both the opening two balls of this over. 103 without loss, which brings James Vince on strike. He's on 70. Darcy Short very much playing the supporting role here. As in comes Bopara from the pavilion end, running towards us, bowls to James Vince, who hammers that one again away through the covers. You probably heard that on our effects microphone. Just a single to the sweeper on the cover boundary. And for the time being, I guess this is all Hampshire need to do, is to work the ball around at the moment, pick up the ones and twos.
Yeah.
They won't want to see the rate creeping up too much. 8.42 and over they need now.
But Ravi's just so difficult to set yourself against.
And he's coming into us now to bowl to the left-handed Short. Hampshire 104 without loss, bowls, and Short drives firmly down the ground to long off. Rashid Khan is very quickly round at long off to field. Good bit of fielding, gets in the throw, and just a single to Short. He goes to 32 of 25 deliveries. Hampshire 105 without loss here on BBC Radio Solent, BBC Radio Sussex. Myself, Adrian Harms, alongside Kevin James. Wonderful setting here at the Ageas Bowl as in comes Bopara over the wicket, bowls and flicked away by James Vince. Another single to Will Beer, who comes in from deep backward square to field. So 5 singles coming off the over. Bit of respite here for Sussex, just what Luke Wright wanted.
And this is just what I thought would happen when Bopara comes on. Batsmen just feel that they can't hit the boundaries when they want to here. He's too canny.
Yeah,
Ravi. He's too clever.
made a very good 62. Batting for Sussex is in again, and bowls, and Short works this one onto the leg side. They've taken one, they'll think about two, but I don't think the second run is there. No, it isn't there, as it fielded up there by Ollie Robinson. So, end of the over, 6 singles coming from that first over from Ravi Bopara. Hampshire are 107 without loss after 11 overs. James Vince is on 72. Darcy Short even is on 33. The run rate, 9.73. Hampshire needing to score 8.56 and over to win.
Well, they are matching Sussex, there's no doubt about that. They're just 7 runs ahead of Sussex at the corresponding stage, so we really have got a game on this evening. And this is going to go right to the wire, or it should do. Hampshire with 10 wickets in hand, and being given a great start here. And this to make it 4 wins in a row, and probably just about keep them in contention, although Surrey won earlier today, which didn't help the table.
Rashid Khan back into the attack.
Here he is, running away from us, and Short works that on the onside. There'll only be a single there as fielder comes in off the deep mid-wicket boundary. That's David Visa.
It is. I mean, he's turning to his experienced wicket takers here, isn't he, Luke Wright? I mean, Luke will know that Sussex need wickets here.
Yeah, no, this is where your main bowlers bowl now, isn't it? Because a wicket will upset the momentum here for Hampshire. As Khan bowls to Vince. Vince pulls that away on the onside. Has he found the gap? He has. Oh, and that's going to be 4 through mid-wicket. Just a little bit too short there from Rashid Khan.
Picked his spot, didn't he, Kevin? He's got a deep mid-wicket and a long on, and he pulled it. If you could have drawn a line to bisect those two fielders, that's exactly what it did.
Yeah, perfect placement there from James Vince, who moves on to 76. 112 without loss, 72 needed. It's Khan starting his 3rd over here, bowls, and Vince goes for the slog sweep over the leg side. There's 6 more.
Oh, that's gone miles. well held, sir.
Oh, yes, good catch. There's a group there and he's getting mobbed, or she's getting mobbed. Somebody's getting mobbed.
There's a lot of guys down there, about 10 of them, and someone caught it, and he was mobbed as if he scored the winning goal in a cup final. That's a big shot.
Yeah.
I don't think they've given the ball back.
No.
Oh, they have now.
Well, obviously, there's not too much social distancing going there, but we'll quickly move on. 82 to Vince, 118 without loss. Melissa, they're not your university lot, are they? She thinks she knows them.
Oh, really?
You know the person that caught it. Right, you're on soon, so you can tell us. Good spot from Melissa. Here's Khan again. Oh, it's the googly, and that's cut away by Vince, but only to backward point. Fielded by Bopara, no run there. Score remains on 118.
Well, Hampshire don't need to take any risks here.
Not at the moment.
I mean, this over has gone for 11. Rashid Khan has only got 1 over left to bowl after this.
Yeah, and that run rate has gone below 8.
Yeah.
Below 8, Hampshire need from here on in. As Khan bowls to Vince. That's a googly again, and Vince pulls that away, but there is a man out to deep mid-wicket. I think he's gone slightly straighter there, so Vince can't find the gap. Just a single from him now. 83 he moves on to, completely pushing Darcy short to second fiddle here.
Yeah.
Short's 34, although he hasn't faced as many balls, to be fair to him. 119 without loss then. 1 ball left of the 12th, and Short pulls that away on the leg side behind square. Bopara comes round, takes his time. Only a single. Short will keep the strike. 12 overs gone here, and Hampshire are 120 without loss. By far and away their best opening partnership in this year's competition.
So, Hampshire going along at 10 and over. They need to score 8 and over from here on in to win this game. And as Kevin was saying, keep their hopes of qualification just about alive. If Sussex were to lose here, they would need to beat Kent at Canterbury on Sunday to make sure of their place in the top 4. So all to play for. And now Luke Wright has turned to Will Beer. The only Sussex player to take 100 wickets in T20 cricket. He's a very reliable campaigner in this form of the game. And boy, does Sussex need him now, because Sussex really do need a wicket. 120 without loss. Vince on 83. Short, who's played the perfect foil, really. Kevin on 35 off 28 deliveries. There are 3 men guarding that leg side boundary. It's Short waits, and it's Will Beer with this.
Ended up about 6-7 paces bowled.
Balls to Darcy Short, cut away, and immediately Will Beer gets a wicket. He's into the attack, looking to cut that one away was Darcy Short. I think he's played on, and you were talking about Will Beer. Why hasn't he bowled yet? Well, a very good question, because the first ball that he bowls, Short is on his way for 35. Will Beer picks up the wicket, and that's just what the Sharks needed.
Yeah, Darcy Short just giving himself a little bit too much room there. I think that actually was a leg spinner, that one, which may just have surprised Darcy Short a little bit, having been told that he don't bowl many of them. But good bowling anyway, and Short again sort of wafts the bat in the air as he walks back. Now that's 120, and that opening partnership. And Dave Allen tweeted a little earlier, this is now Hampshire's highest, well, was Hampshire's highest first wicket T20 partnership against Sussex. It was previously 109. So there we go. Thank you, Dave Allen.
Good partnership. Well, I was saying that he'd played the perfect foil, had Darcy Short, but he's now on his way, and the new man in is Tom Prest?
Yeah, he'll be batting 3.
Okay.
Missed out this afternoon, but restored. Charles Elder has tweeted at Solent Sport. This one's for Melissa as well. Really enjoying today's cricket, and the commentary continues to be scintillating. Thank you very much, Charles. As does the action on the pitch. Enjoy hearing Melissa on air. Even more so now I see that she's a graduate of Southampton Uni. Come on, Hampshire, keep the runs flowing. Melissa, any Melissa fans out there, you only have to wait just under 2 overs and she'll be back on. With Adrian Harms, who's equally as popular.
Not. Well, Will Beer has bowled 1 ball, he's picked up a wicket, so hope for the Sussex Sharks here. We think a lot of Melissa's university friends are down there on the boundary. They're having a great time, and what a wonderful setting with the floodlights on the moon. Just above the pavilion, as in comes Will Beer and bowls, and Prest is forward and just plays that quietly down the offside of the track. Will Beer fields off his own bowling, and there is no run. There is hope for Sussex. The ever reliable Will Beer wanders back. The pavilion behind him, and Prest waits. Hampshire 120 for 1. He's in and bowls and reverse swept by Preston. He's going to get runs here, but just a single as Ollie Robinson comes in from what would have been the cover boundary with an orthodox shot and picks up a single. So Preston is on his way. And Hampshire to 121 for 1, needing to score at 8.4 and over. You'd have to say from here, Hampshire heavy favourites, but a couple of wickets could change everything.
Yeah, again, the run rate started to creep up, hasn't it, after that wicket? It's amazing what wickets do.
Yeah. Beer tosses the ball from hand to hand. And he's going to come into bowl to James Vince, who's batted beautifully. 83 off 44 deliveries. He's in and bowls, and Vince drives firmly through to long off, fielded out in the distance by Derry Royce. I think about a second, well, that's really, really dangerous and almost suicidal. Well, in the end, you have to say it was well run, because not too many people take 2 runs to Rawlins. It was a good bit of fielding. You got the throw in. There was a bit of yes and knowing. In the end, Prest went for it, and he just about got home.
Wow.
Only by the skin of his teeth. Vince goes to 85, 123 for 1. As James Vince surveys that leg side field again. And Will Beer is on his way. Good over so far from Will Beer, just conceding the 3 runs as James Vince just caresses that ball down to long on and picks up a single fielded by Rashid Khan way down in the distance. 1 more to Vince. He goes to 86 off 46 deliveries. Hampshire 124 for 1. Required run rate 8.37 and over required from here on in. We've got 7 overs remaining. Beer. Bowling to the right-handed Tom Prest, who's just scored 1. He's in and bowls and swept, and that's going to be 4 runs. Lucius delivery down the leg side, and Prest just waited for it, helped it on its way. The ball runs away for a boundary. Nice shot by Tom Prest. He goes to 5. Just what Hampshire wanted, just what Sussex didn't want. At the end of the over, Hampshire 128 for 1. Vince is on 86. Prest is on 5. Hampshire going along at 9.85 and over. They now need to score at just 8 and over to win this match.
Yeah, 56 needed off the last 7. And again, Hampshire showing good faith in the 18-year-old Tom Prest. Not only continually batting at number 3, but actually batting 3 here in a really tight pressure situation. Sussex are certainly not going to give this game away, but Hampshire, with 9 wickets in hand here, and with James Vince going well at the crease, are favourites at the moment, that's for sure.
Well, Luke Wright has shown every faith in Archie Lenham throughout this competition. He's going to bowl again, the 16-year-old, none more so than down at Glamorgan when Dan Douthwaite was threatening to win a game. He brought Lenham on and he picked up a wicket. And Sussex could do with 1 now.
So Lenham then, teenager?
You or me? I think it's you.
I can't remember, it's me. Yeah, let's say me for the I don't know, let's just say me anyway.
Yeah.
Here comes Lenham then with his leg spin. It's outside off stump, and that's cracked away by Vince through extra cover. That's 4. Past a dive in Luke Wright.
Yeah, a bit too wide, wasn't it?
Let's put pressure on the youngster. 2 teenagers out there. Preston non-striker, Lenham the bowler, being thrust into pressure situations, and immediately Lenham's going to get a chat from Wright and from keeper Phil Salt. 132 for 1.
He must have been tempted, I think, Luke Wright, to have bowled 1 final over from Rashid Khan, because Sussex certainly need wickets, but it's not to say that young Lenham hasn't let Sussex down in this competition.
I don't think that's a bad move. I'll come to that as a moment. That's a better delivery, but that's just pushed past a diving Luke Wright to his right hand this time, and he goes out to Rawlins at deep middle. I think Luke Wright would have thought there's one end where there's a new batsman. Let's save Rashid Khan for when it gets a little bit tighter, when there's 2 batsmen going well, if there is 2 batsmen going well. So it might be a good piece of captaincy. Just while there's a chance of bowling to Prest, probably a chance to sort of get, Lenham an over or 2 here. 133 for 1 in the 14th over here as Lenham bowls. Prest bottom hand slaps that away square on the offside. Don't think there's more than 1. It's gone a little bit too quick to the fielder, Visa. 134 for 1. Prest moves on to 6. Hampshire need 50 exactly here with 6.5 overs remaining.
Yeah, less than 8 and over, Kevin.
Yeah. Good game. Good game, this one, as down the wicket comes Vince, drives that hard up to Rawlins. A deep enough for him, misfields. They'll take 2. Oh, the crowd like that one.
Well, that's a collector's item. Because he really is an excellent fielder, Delray Rawlins, and it just goes to show what pressure can do, though, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. One of the better fielders.
Yeah, he's an excellent fielder, and that very, very rarely happens.
Yeah, that'll annoy him, that's for sure. 136 for 1 brings Vince back on strike, who cuts that away out to Visa at deep point. Don't think he'll fumble that. He doesn't. 137 for 1. Hampshire need 47 here with 1 ball left of the 14th over. Lenham has gone for 6, 8, 9 so far in this over, plus these. Reverse sweep, misses Prest, and fumbled by Salt, but it's a dot ball, which is the main thing. 14 overs gone, 6 to do, 137 for 1, with Vince on 94 not out, 6 short of a second white ball 100 of the week. And Adrian Harms will be joined by Melissa Story to take you through these next 6 overs.
Well, I'll just say, you stand for the next over, because I think James Ince could well get 100, and you should be here when that happens.
Okay.
So Melissa, you come in for me for a minute, and then we'll see how things go.
Okay. Thank you very much, Adrian Harms. What a nice bloke he is. I know he's trying to double bluff me. He's hoping actually that Vince will get out in this over. I know. I've worked with Adrian for too long. He's trying to give me the double bluff, Melissa. I'm not going to fall for it.
See, I'm simply not saying a word because everything I've said tonight's come true, so I'm just not risking it at this point.
Have we lost the effects mic? Oh, there it is, it's back on. Right, here we go then. Here's Will Beer bowling to James Vince on 94, and Vince just quietly plays that on the leg side for a single. So are they your mates away to the deep cover boundary?
Well, I'm not particularly close with them, but I have seen, it's one of the boys from Southampton University, or used to be a part of him. He's got a group of his friends down there, the ones who've been chatting to Darcy Short all night. So I look through my little binoculars and I have a feeling he was a good fielder. So I would back him to take that catch in the crowd.
Yeah, it was a good catch if it was him. 138 for 1. Tom Prest back on strike here, facing Will Beer, gives himself some room, and he's bowled top of off stump, and Beer celebrates. Prest goes for 6, and now it's 138 for 2.
Where was Beer earlier? He's come in and made an impact on this game instantly. Got the key wicket Sussex needs. Obviously, Vince still at the crease, but each one of these wickets is another dot ball, makes that required run rate just that bit higher.
Certainly does. Well, the order of the day now is to play around James Vince. Keep that scoring rate ticking along. Give James Vince as much of the strike as you can. But Colin de Grandhomme makes his way to the middle. I think, well, he's another finisher. They call him a finisher, don't they, in this type of cricket? I don't think he'll be hanging around for too long either.
I mean, what a player to have coming in this situation now. Whether he'll play quite the supporting role Hampshire requires, or he tends to go about things his own way, but as long as he's scoring runs, regardless, the crowd here at the Ageas will be very happy, and I'm sure there's a very tense dressing room opposite us.
That's for sure. Yeah, well, de Grandhomme will be a player that Sussex will want to see the back of fairly quickly, because he will finish this game off fairly easy if he gets in and decides that he wants to hit some big shots, because he does and has already this afternoon. What's the England score then, Mel?
The England score, so England are, if this is up to date, 133 for 4. So Roy got a few runs at the start, he got 32, Livingston 65 not out, and Morgan 16 not out.
So they need another?
They need, as I say, this might be a bit behind, but from now, 100 runs off 8.3 overs. So, I mean, apparently they went out all guns blaring, absolutely sixes from the ball, the get-go. So if they can chase that down, I still remember the T20 World Cup final a few years ago when England made it through to that final. I've had the England-South Africa game saved on my planner for about 7 years now, because I think England chased down something like 224, and I just like watching it to remind myself. It was just such a great day. Very much a badger, but...
Not at all. You're not missing any action. The umpires have just had a bit of a chat about something, not quite sure, but it doesn't really matter. Just to remind you of the state of the game, 46 needed by Hampshire here, 138 for 2, and there are 5.4 overs remaining. Will Beer, who's perhaps belatedly been brought into the attack, has taken both wickets. He has 2 for 9 and he's coming up to halfway through his second over. Crowd in voice now as we get towards the later stages of this game. De Grandhomme just pushes that out on the offside. Vince calls him through. He's off the mark straight away, 139 for 2. I'm
sure this chorus of Hampshires around the ground are going to give Vince what he needs to just keep going here. Been batting for a long time, but imagine just, as I say, I won't say anything, but the crowd here.
Yeah, I think your mates are going to go wild. If the crowd doesn't, your mates will.
Yeah. I'm quite concerned there's no stewards around them, to be honest. I think they might need to just come lower down. We saw the stewards earlier break up the beer snake in the end. It was a sad moment.
Here's Beer, then bowls to James Vince, and Vince swats that around on the leg side. It'll only be a single. He's running the first one quickly in case there's a misfield, but there isn't. And that throw comes in from Rashid Khan.
And the floodlights, of course, in full effect here now, illuminating this pitch in our very, very sizable crowd, who not many people are leaving their seats at this point in the game.
No, most of them been here all day watching 2 games. This is what they've come to see, a late night close game. Half moon above us, which is quite pleasant. Not total darkness by any stretch of the imagination, as Will Beer bowls to De Grandhomme. De Grandhomme works that away square on the offside, hasn't completely timed that one, so just another single to him. He moves on to 2, 140 for 2, 1 ball left of the 15th, and Hampshire need 43. Good game this, Melissa.
We've been treated to 2 quite exciting games here, and hopefully another win from Hampshire, but last ball of the over here, Vince can do with just getting a single and making sure he's on strike for the next over.
Yeah, here's Beer then, bowls to Vince, and Vince pulls that away on the onside. That'll only be a single again. Moves on to 97, but he keeps the strike, and he's just looks a little bit disappointed there that he hasn't got his 100 by the end of that over. I'm sure it will come soon enough. Don't be too greedy. You've had a good week, Mr. Vince. 142 for 2.
Yeah, share the runs with someone else, please. I'm sure a few England players right now chasing that 2, 3, 4 are going to want a few, but I think we're quite content with him hoarding them all here.
Yeah, we are. That's for sure. So this is your over. You could be calling his 100 here, Melissa.
Oh gosh, here we go. So 42 runs required is the equation of 5 overs. That is correct. It is unfortunately that time of the night when the floodlights are on and the scoreboard gets increasingly difficult to read. But we can feel the atmosphere here at the Ageas Bowl. You can feel the crowd sat on the edge of their seats as the Hampshire chorus begins again. We've got Rashid Khan bowling his final over. 3 overs for 30 runs so far, and he will be bowling to Vince. Vince on 97, not out. In comes Khan, and that's a straight delivery clipped into the leg side. Vince is looking for 2 here, and he's good, and they remain for a single. Colin de Grandhomme at that case said no.
Well, he was desperate, Vince, but you can't. That would have been suicidal, that second run.
And what, you wouldn't want to go that way. So, I mean, Colin de Grandhomme, a very competent batter at the other end. If he knows anything right, he'll knock this for a single, bring Vince back on strike. Don't want to upset your captain.
He loves a chat, Khan, didn't he? He's had another chat with Vince there.
Speak with your bowling, not your words. So there's Khan in again, second ball, and this is outside off stump and cut through the fielding gap between point and third man, rushing towards the boundary. 4 runs to Colin de Grandhomme.
Pinged off the bat, that one. Absolutely pinged off the bat. De Grandhomme went for placement, didn't go for trying to hit it too hard, and yet it still came right out of the middle.
Hampshire moving on to 147 for 2. 5 runs off this over so far. The required run rate is now 7.9. Yeah,
Hampshire
operating almost at 10 and over. Khan, third ball of the over, bowling to De Grandhomme, who sweeps. There's a fielder down there in the deep, but it's going to be a comfortable 2 for the Hampshire batters who jog through the second of those runs.
Good stuff from De Grandhomme here.
Moves the score up to 149 for 2. 35 runs required to win. I can feel the tension even in the commentary box. Neither of us can keep still, going from foot to foot. As Khan in past the umpire. And this is a hit in the air by De Grandhomme, going towards the boundary rope, and 1 bounce for De Grandhomme has gone, I will finish this right here, right now, if I have to.
He got lucky though there, didn't he? He didn't really get hold of that. 150 up for Hampshire. 15.4 overs, 2 balls left of the 16th. But he didn't get hold of that at all, but fortunately he found a gap between the 2 fielders. Yeah, Luke Wright couldn't leave Rashid Khan any longer, really.
No.
It's getting too tight, really. Khan had to come on now. I'm sure he would have loved to wait another over or 2.
Khan, 5th ball of the over. This outside of stump, attempts to cut it through that point and the fielder, and he's run out. De Grandhomme sold down the line there. Went for the quick single, but sent back by James Vint, and he has run out. A big wicket there for Hampshire near the end. Sussex going to be very happy with that. Now Hampshire 153 3 for 3. De Grandhomme falls for 12 off 5 deliveries.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the calling was out there. I mean, the dab behind square on the offside.
If you both go, it was always going to be tight, but actually I think Vince saw that actually, again, De Grandhomme timed that too well, and he got to the fielder just a little bit too quick, maybe Mopara, and in the end, De Grandhomme made it easy for him because he came too high down.
And again, club cricket, of course.
The ball goes behind, it's the non-striker's call, and I think actually Vince called no, De Grandhomme called yes at the start. They both ran, and
Sure.
I mean, as the captain, who's also on 98 not out, you would send them back, and it's one of those things again, you've got to value the risk. They'd already got 2 boundaries from the over, 2 and 1. Would that one have made all the difference? Probably not. But 1 ball remaining. A good wicket for Sussex. So 1 more ball for Rashid Khan to make an impression on this game. Weatherly comes to the crease. Highest run scorer for Hampshire prior to today in this competition, averaging a good score.
Made 10 this afternoon against Essex.
Khan in, final ball of his spell, and that's a straight ball, strikes Weatherly on the pads, perhaps a bit of bat involved, but that's a dot ball to finish the over. James Vince will be on strike for the next over, and Hampshire 153 for 3, Vince 98 not out.
Wow, it's all about James Vince now, isn't it?
It is, and I mean, Hampshire, I think it's across their history in T20s, there's been 11 T20 hundreds. I'm pretty sure Vince has scored 3 or 4 of them. I'm sure I can be fact corrected, but he is the man to do it. We saw in that previous game, was it in 2008 against Sussex, where James Vince was the one who got the runs for Hampshire. He's playing that role again today, and I think he's got to see it through to the end now.
Yeah. Dave Allen tweeted earlier about the opening stand of 120 between Short and Vince. They just missed Hampshire's highest T20 first wicket partnership ever. That was 122 by Michael Carberry and Mitchell Stokes back in 2006. Thank you very much, Dave Allen. Will Beer then to bowl his third over, 2 for 13. What great figures he has. And the bowl again from the pavilion end, bowling to James Vince, who's 98. And Vince cuts, misses outside off stump. Fortunately, that's missed the off stump, probably by not very much.
I'm just going to turn my back now.
Tense stuff.
I don't need to commentate these balls. I simply will not be looking.
It's too much for Melissa. Probably too much for 1 or 2 people in this crowd. Probably too much for you watching on the stream or listening via BBC Sussex and also BBC Radio Solent. 153 for 3 as Beer comes in to Vince and bowls, and that's turned away on the leg side. Now he runs the first one quickly. Is he going to run 2 here? I think he is. He's going to be home, is he? Bowl comes at the bowler's end, and he is. And that's 2 runs for James Vince, and that takes him to 3 figures. What a week James Vince is having. Started with 100 for England up at Edgbaston earlier, 63 this afternoon, and now here he is with another 100. And this is all about James Vince now in this game. It's all about James Vince anyway. What a week he's having.
What a week and what an innings we have been treated to. That was a batting masterclass, and is a batting masterclass from James Vince.
Just 56 deliveries, and he's still there. Hampshire 155 for 3, they need 29, and we are in over number 17. 4 balls left of it as well. James Vince bats and just, he gets a leading edge there, and it's gone down towards 3rd man, fortunately. And he's got away with that one. That's gone down to Archie Lenham. Is he going to have another over yet before the end of the day? I'll go through to the end of this over, and then Melissa Story and Adrian Harms will take you through until the close. 156 for 3, 28 needed with 21 balls left.
Gosh, what an equation.
Great stuff, isn't it? This is what it's all about. Joe Weatherly's on strike. He's only faced 1 ball so far. As Beer bowls to the right-hander, sweeps, and it's gone behind square on the leg side. It's going to be a couple at least. Well fielded. That's Rashid Khan down there at deep backward square leg. Does well. Oh, he's injured his thigh again.
I think
the old thigh injury's come out again.
Well, I mean, I don't think he should pull it out on that. He's just done a great bit of fielding. It's when you do a bad bit of fielding you pull out the injury.
Well, I think he's letting everybody know that not only was it a good bit of fielding, but it was extra specially good because I'm injured with a bad thigh. 158 for 3. There's now 26 needed as Beer bowls, and there's a sweep shot off the glove, and it's gone very fine. Clayton's running after it. We'll pick it up just inside the rope. Weatherly runs 2. Don't think they'll get 3 there. They don't. Clayton does well in the end. Keeps it down to 2. Weatherly moves on to 4, and Hampshire are 160 for 3 with 1 ball left of the 17th, and they need 24. Wow, if Hampshire win this, that's 4 in a row.
Momentum's building. It'll
Certainly
build to
is,
Sunday.
Is it too late? It probably is, but it's good anyway. 160 for 3 as Khan bowls. Oh, he's playing a missing outside the off stump there, whether he's trying to force that away square on the offside. It's gone past the outside edge. End of the over. It's 18 balls left. Hampshire need 24. And this is a story, a word from her, and then Adrian Harms will take me through to the close.
Required run rate now has gone to 8.8, but Hampshire well ahead of that, going at 9.4 runs per over. And as Kev was saying, this momentum building in the latter half of the tournament. Perhaps too late for Hampshire, but positive signs for the upcoming Royal London Cup and the future T20 Blast seasons. A few of these players contracted, of course, to play in the 100 and in good form for that competition starting in a few weeks. Adrian, what an ending!
Well, terrific game, isn't it? I have to say, what a wonderful innings from James Vince. And interesting, when he went through to that 100, I noticed that the Sussex fielders were all applauding Luke Wright, Ravi Bopara, players who have played so much T20 cricket. They would have recognised that was a quality innings.
I think as well, he's just a very well-loved player, and seeing him get that 100 on Tuesday for England and seeing him here, it's just positive to see, and you almost hope innings like this are just going to push him further into the selector's eyes.
Maybe it will. Ollie Robinson is going to come into bowl from the hotel end of the ground, 160 for 3, so Hampshire needing to score 8 and over, still 7 wickets in the bank as Robinson runs away from us, coming into bowl to the right-handed James Vince. Vince clips that one away on the leg side. They've taken 1, I don't think they'll take 2. The ball is fielded by Rashid Khan, who doesn't show any ill effects of that leg, gets in the throw to Phil Salt, and it's 1 to Vince. He goes to 102. Sussex have got a reserve fielder on. Ollie Carter is down here long off. Delray Rawlins has gone off the field. I don't know why. He's a terrific fielder, is Rawlins, so we hope that's nothing too serious ahead of the game against Kent at Canterbury, which will now be, if Sussex lose this, really important, because they're perhaps going to need to win that to ensure qualification. A lot depends on other results on Sunday. What I can tell you is that Kent are going to win the group because they've thrashed Middlesex tonight. As in comes Robinson, running away from us. He comes in and bowls, and pulled away, and that's a huge blow by Joe Weatherly. It's a super pick-up over deep backward square. It sailed into the sand for 6 runs. Weatherly goes to 10, and Hampshire to 167 for 3.
And that one shot, the release shot for Hampshire, 17 runs to win that. And it's looking like it's their game to lose, but it's the Weatherly sweep yet again brought out. A marvellous 6 there.
Well, I think you're right. Hampshire will kick themselves if they don't win from here. 167 for 3. And we've got another 16 balls to go as in comes Robinson again, bowling to the right-handed Weatherly. He's in and bowls, and Weatherly just places quietly to Wood Point, fielded by Ravi Bopara, who comes trotting in for 50. Can't cut off the single. Weatherly to a 168 for 3.
Of course, the required run rate now down to 6. That's almost just a single every ball, and just the manner of risk Hampshire now need to take in this innings. It's not as great as they thought, and this run chase truly has been remarkable and so well paced from the Hampshire batters, and especially James Vince.
16 needed off 15 balls. And it's the skipper James Vince. What a week for him as he waits for Ollie Robinson, runs away from us, coming into bowl, and that's wide of the off stump. He took a step away to let, in fact, he's out. Is he out? Yes, he is. He's nicked it through to the keeper. So maybe there is hope for Sussex yet. He stepped away to the leg side, did James Vince. I thought he'd made a miss. He got a little nick. It's gone through to Phil Salt. James Vince doesn't look too happy about the decision. Nonetheless, he wanders on, and I think we'll just listen to this round of applause because that's a magnificent innings from James Vince. He's made 102 in 59 balls, not behind by Phil Salt. And let's just listen to the applause. He wanders off. He does a 360 turn as he approaches the boundary edge, waves his bat to all 4 corners of the ground. He doesn't look overly happy about the decision, I have to say, James Vince.
It was one of those ones where you're not sure. He was reaching out so far to the offside, whether the ball hit the ground or the bat hit the ground. And it was a confident appearance from Ollie Robinson. Of course, you're going to be confidently appealing anything at this point, but...
I was actually waiting, Melissa, for that to be signalled a wide, but then James Vince did step a long way away to his leg side. I thought it was gone through to full salt, but then the finger went up and James Vince was on his way. You'd think he'd done enough from here, though. 168 for 4.
He'll be sat in that changing room now, barely being able to watch this game, but as you say, hopefully what he has done is enough.
Oh, now the decision looks like, indebted to Kane, hit wicket. As in comes Robinson, over the wicket, bowls, good delivery, played straight back down the ground, picks up a single, does Lewis McManus, who is the new batsman, and that's all Hampshire need to do, is to pick up the single. So, we didn't pick that up at all, we thought he'd nicked a bit behind. It could have only just dislodged the bail.
It's actually blown my mind.
And I think it's literally just, it's literally... So, whether his bat hit, who knows, but the bail was just dislodged. So
must have been the bat. The ball was so wide, but I guess when you get to that point in
very
your
strange.
Innings, you're tired. Just a bit of a loose shot or wicket.
We'll see that again. Anyway, 169 4, one ball remaining in this Ollie Robinson over. Comes in and bowls to Weatherly, who clips it on beautifully through mid-wicket. That's a far shot from Weatherly. It was just pitched around middle and leg, and he just clipped the ball through the mid-wicket gap for 4 runs. That's a terrific shot. He goes to 15, Hampshire to 173 for Hampshire needing 11 to win with 2 overs remaining and 6 wickets at the bank.
As we said, it's looking like Hampshire's game to lose. You've just had Lewis McManus come to the crease. He got runs in the previous game. He got runs last Friday against Somerset. He is almost a Hampshire finisher in this game. So these two very level-headed batsmen at the crease.
Well, from here, it's literally just picking up a ball here. And 11 needed off 12 balls. 6 desperately need a couple. They won't give Sussex.
Question now is, I know it's a risk, but obviously at some point you have to bring the field in because it's less than one on the ball. How about we see a spinner? I feel like Clayton is coming in, but it would be interesting to see them now. Imagine someone like Will Beer in this situation. 2 newish batters trying to get away the spin, but as I said, it will be Mitch Clayton from the pavilion end. He has bowled 2 overs for 20 runs so far, and he will be bowling a new batter, Lewis McManus, scored 25 in the previous game. He comes into bowl, and that's a short delivery hoiked into the leg side, but to the deep mid-wicket fielder for just a single.
Well, Will Beer has been very much the Sussex bowling. 3 overs, 2 for 20, and they are easily the standard figures. Rashid Khan, 4 overs, 0 for 41, the most expensive. So, Will Beer has picked up a couple of wickets, and often we spoke earlier this season. I was talking to him, and he was saying often, he's been left out of T20, but he's certainly made a case for playing tonight, and he's been the pick of the Sussex bowler. So, a little surprised when he bowled the last over.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Perhaps they think this is the over where it's the win or lose, and then have that spin option for the final over. But 1 run off that possible. Clayton in again, and that's struck firmly down the front. There's a fielder out, but they allow it to bounce just the one in front of them. It's again one of those fielding things as the batsmen sneak through for a single. Do you go for it, risk it, the ball bouncing over you, or do you just accept the 1 bounce single?
See who that is. The find it's a long way away, and they're just up there at long.
35.
Okay,
so
Harrison. Well, put your binoculars.
in comes Clayton, third ball, bowling McManus, and that's a dot ball to the keeper behind.
Yeah. Good over Sussex.
9 runs required now. Is it
9 off.
Oh God. Thrilling finish we have here at the Ageas Bowl. It's fully black now, floodlights in full effect. So is the Hampshire crowd singing a chorus of Hampshires to try and spur on their batters at the crease. Here comes Clayton. 2 runs off the so far, and that's an inside to the pads, but they through for a single as the keeper comes. Phil Salt quite stop single there, but again single there we have that 8 feet now at this bowl. 166 before.
Well, it's closer than it looked going to be a couple of hours ago. A wicket handy here. So then, as you say, Ryder's got a David could bowl. He's at 1 over. Robinson's got a left.
A wicket now for Hampshire. a bit of panic as Clay comes in, and the dot ball straight back to the bowler. Dot ball runs off +5 balls. He now needs from 7 degrees.
I mean, Ravi has only bowled over. I wonder what Wright might just experience less. He's suddenly getting tense here. Ageas Bowl to over from Claydon. Hey, just the 3 runs coming up, Melissa.
Of course, have Liam Dawson still waiting to come out to bat. Hampshire will be confident. 1 ball remains over. Claydon. That's a full driven. It bounced. Stumps as it's going towards the boundary. To get through 1, 2. They're looking for a third. And they do. 3. What events here. A dispute at and I'm pointing at for Claydon to less. That means if this fight over have 5 runs to look and whether the crease.
Terrific. What balls hit down from when it comes often, but it towards the back. Sometimes you get bowler on this occasion. Unfortunately for it Rick and Ollie Khan takes the ball to the boundary. He got the batsman for 3 runs, 5 off over. It's in the bank. It's Hampshire, isn't it? He's going to bowl this over. I think be rather or Robinson.
I feel in this. I would love to like Ravi in the pace of correctly. We've got
there is Right on and Ravi will be are all in information about bowl this. No, I will be 3 and for 20. Wonder we might take. The Sussex they've got 3 men saving 1 on the offside, and in fact some of the fielders just outside of the circle are almost on the circle. So you know, Luke Wright's got to take a risk here, hasn't he?
And Ollie Robinson, I think the key to this over is pace off the ball. We saw some of his variations. He cannot afford to give too much pace and width in these final 6 deliveries of this game.
So here we go. It's Ollie Robinson running away from us from the hotel end, coming into bowl to Joe Weatherly. He's in and bowls, and Weatherly pulls this one away. It's going down towards fine leg, and it's run away for 4 runs. Down to fine leg off the first ball of the over. Weatherly has played a little gem of an innings here. He goes to 23 off 11. Hampshire 183 for 4. They need 1 to win. So I think, Melissa, it's overdue for the final ball, because barring something sensational happening here, Hampshire are going to win this game.
And a remarkable shot from Weatherly. A bit of a top edge in the ball, but he stepped across his stumps, backed himself to play that shot, and this decision to bowl Robinson and put pace in the ball for the final over, looking like a questionable one for Sussex. So we have 5 balls remaining. Hampshire just need 1 run to win. Weatherly on strike, 25 off 11 balls so far. Everyone is up in the ring apart from deep square leg and long on. In comes Robinson. The ball is slashed away into the leg side, rushing towards the boundary, and Hampshire have done it. They have pulled off 2 wins in this double-header today. 1 win against the Essex Eagles and a 2nd win against the Sussex Sharks. And this rearguard action in the T20 Blast has seen Hampshire get lots of wins in a row now. And what an incredible finish and atmosphere.
Yeah, it's terrific, isn't it? I know we've got a bit of Sweet Caroline, which has very much been the song of the summer across the country. Comfortable really for Hampshire in the end. I know it went to the final over, but I have to say, sometimes you have to take your hat off to an innings of high quality, and that was a high quality innings from James Vince. He took the game away from Sussex right from the off. He looked a player in terrific form, as he is. And a wonderful innings, and as I say, the Sussex fielders applauding when he went to that 100, and that was a sign that it was really a tremendous innings from James Vince, and that throws this group wide open. Sussex will need to win their final game at Canterbury to ensure they qualify for the quarterfinals, and Hampshire, we'll bring Kevin back in a minute, but I think Hampshire have still got an outside chance, I think. I mean, I think Gloucestershire play Somerset on at the weekend. Surrey have finished, but I think it probably counts Surrey out of it, I think. But it's all going to be very tight on Sunday, and I think Hampshire play Glamorgan in their final.
They do. Another must-win game for Hampshire. I think we need Gloucestershire to beat Somerset potentially. So, as we were saying, it's so funny. Last Friday we were talking about the small mathematical chance that Hampshire could do this, but now, with one game left in this tournament, it's looking like it could come true.
So, tremendous performance from Hampshire. Sweet Caroline ringing around the Ageas Bowl. I mean, I wonder how difficult it is sometimes to play 2 matches in a row. We were speculating about that a bit earlier on, but to be fair, Hampshire have shown that you could do it, and wonderful performance.
Absolutely. Testimony to their mental strength, their physical strength, and just all of their skill. And in this last second half of the tournament, how have they come together as a unit? The bowlers have been supporting the batters, supporting the bowlers, and seeing not only in that first game Hampshire setting a target, but in the second game seeing Hampshire chasing a target. This is, if we can get through into these quarterfinals and qualifying games, I think Hampshire could be unstoppable.
Well, Sussex were obviously not at full strength in terms of the bowling attack today. No Chris Jordan, no Tamal Mills, and no George Garton. They were missed. But let's take nothing away from Hampshire. Sometimes you just have to tip your hat to a wonderful innings, and that was the innings from James Vint. So, I think we're pretty much done here at the Ageas Bowl. We'll be getting reaction in the next few moments. Been great to work with you, Melissa. And great as ever to work with Kevin James as well. So I think from Melissa, from Kevin, from myself, Adrian Harms, to our listeners on BBC Radio Solent, BBC Radio Sussex, we'll hand you back to your respective stations.